East Bank got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane going eastbound there at James Robertson Parkway. Then in Hermitage, 40 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard East. TDOT says there's a crash. Police say there's a crash over at 40 westbound after Church Street. And in Donaldson, Stewart's Ferry Pike near I-40. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Welcome in. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show underway for another day. 6 minutes after 3 o'clock. Happy to have you with us on what is a lovely, albeit a bit cold, Thursday, December 11, 2025. It is the middle of December. It's supposed to be cold out there, no matter whether Ken Weaver likes it or not. It's episode 941 of our Gathering Together. We appreciate you, whatever time you're able to give us. We're certainly thankful for it. I'm thankful for you during this holiday season, and I wish you a Merry Christmas, a Happy Holidays. I'll say it all except for season's greetings. I don't like season greetings. I don't think season's greetings makes a lot of sense. I don't like it on a card, and I certainly don't like it out of anyone's lips. But I'll say Happy Holidays or Merry Christmas. Heck, I'll give you a Happy Kwanzaa if you want. I mean, if that's what you're celebrating, whatever. Just enjoy some time with family and friends. We've got a lot to do on the show today I'm just trying to figure all this out. We got a lot to do on the show today, as you might expect. There's much going on. I think maybe or maybe not we'll have a visit from Representative Scott Cepicky. I put a call in. We tentatively agreed to a 4 o'clock visit to follow up on the Columbia Dam issue. Rather, I should say the Columbia water issue, which involves the dam. We'll do that, hopefully, fingers crossed, at 4:05 this afternoon. Always a pleasure to visit with Scott Cepicky. I'll also find out if he's about to be my new representative, and if so, I'm going to yell at him about things. But right? I mean, that's what you do. Ken, I think there's a possibility that he might be my new rep when I move.
It might be, Brother Murphy.
You never know. You're out there Murfreesboro way.
Yes, sir.
How far or how long is a typical? By the way, Ken.
Yes, sir.
Hey, how are you?
How about you?
What's going on?
I just writing up news. It's a busy day, dude.
Has anyone suggested that your head coach is going to take over the job at the University of Michigan yet?
Dude, Brent Venables ain't going anywhere.
You see how all these Bama fans are freaking out because they think Kalen DeBoer is going to go to Michigan.
Yeah.
Would you take the Michigan job over the Bama job?
No.
I mean, I don't think I would either. I mean, I think it would be easier.
No.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think you got probably about you've got as much pressure there as you do down in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, you know what? You're probably right because Michigan has such an. I just meant in terms of schedule, right?
Oh,
scheduling.
Year to year. Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be easier, but it snows up there. I'd stay in Tuscaloosa for that reason alone.
I bet you would.
I don't care how mad the goat would get at me every Saturday.
Have you looked at the weather for the weekend, Ken? I mean, it's part of your job, Ken, to deliver these weather. I'm just asking you, Ken. I'm helping you do your job today. I mean, it is part of your role as the news guru of Middle Tennessee, which is what you are with that long beard. That long goatee-like beard. I mean, that you split that thing in two. It's like a Fu Manchu. You are the news sage. You are telling us grasshoppers to take the stone from your hand. And we expect news information, and part of that information is weather, Ken.
Oh, Brother Murphy, it's not making me happy.
What's going on? Ken, I'm an uninformed listener sitting in my automobile in Middle Tennessee, and I want to know on the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN what the weather's going to do this weekend. What say you?
Sunday is not going to be a fun day. The high on Sunday is only going to be like 25.
It's just.
And then guess what? It's going to be Sunday night.
12.
Yes.
Is that right?
It's 8 to 12.
What's the real feel on that there, Ken?
Well, the real feel would be probably 8.5.
It's cold this weekend, y'all.
Son of a biscuit. Now, well, Saturday's not going to be bad. 43 to 51. That's not, it could be worse.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to be tooling around. Columbia and the surrounding areas on all day Saturday, just checking out the scenery. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing the lay of. Ken, got to get the lay of the land.
Yeah, you do.
You know how that goes.
You're going to be closer to one of my favorite breweries.
What's that?
The one that has beer.
Oh, look, there's Jackson.
Brother Jackson.
I was about to say hey to RJ, and then Jackson took over.
I had some things to say.
Hello, Jackson.
Hello.
What was your favorite brewery, Ken?
One of my favorites down there in Manchester. Common John.
Okay.
Woo, they make mighty fine beer down there in Manchester.
Okay. I gotta watch it, y'all, because I've learned I love Ken Weaver to death, and y'all know my mantra. It's Murphy's Law number 472. We do not make matters of taste matters of fact on the Murphy Show. In other words, if you tell me I really love so-and-so, I won't say, oh, that's horrible, because that's not horrible to you. You like it. It's a matter of taste. So I've learned over the years that Ken Weaver has – now tell me if I'm wrong. You kind of like these IPAs.
I do like IPAs, but in moderation, dude.
Yeah.
Woo, them IPAs, man.
They'll get you.
They'll get you.
Sneaky.
Bounce up and
yes, sir.
grab onto you. Won't
It's
let go.
It's gonna be in the 50s in the mountains this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Brother Jackson's going to be warmer than we are.
Did anyone ask about the mountains this weekend?
No.
I don't recall that, but
Ready
thank
to leave you behind for the
thank you.
week.
So where exactly you going there, Jackson? Give us the address of this Airbnb that you'll be at.
Wait, hold up. I got it.
Yeah.
It's right here.
And are you going to take that trophy? Are you really taking that trophy?
It's riding the Flying Eagle at Dollywood this weekend, Brother Weaver.
RJ's controlling the show technically today because no, you're welcome to stay there at the mic, Jax. I wasn't kicking you off the mic. I was just saying RJ is technically controlling the show today because Jackson is out tomorrow.
Control's a bit of an understatement where Jackson is concerned.
True that. That's Jackson has this ability to have 14 balls in the air at one given moment, and he looks at you and says, everything's fine. And I believe him. I don't know why I believe him, but I believe him. But I do. Common John.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll look it up.
I think you'll be close to that.
Yeah. Well.
I think you'll be closer to it than you are right now.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. Cold this weekend, y'all, at least on Sunday. Be careful out there. It should be, this is the first weekend where we don't really have, we got some NFL things going on Sunday, but we don't really have any college foosball this weekend.
No college football.
Gearing up for those playoffs.
Yes, sir.
I like that. Yeah. Hey, Jackson.
Army-Navy. Oh, yeah, that's right, Army-Navy.
Thank you, Jackson. Army-Navy is Saturday. That's a good call.
I love the Army-Navy.
Who does? It's a bucket list for me.
And I'm going for Army because Navy kicked dirt in my ice cream last year in whatever Cheez-It or Ritz Cracker Bowl we were playing in.
I always root for Army for some reason, and I don't know why. The affiliations that I have with I don't know. My nephew's now in the United States Army, so that gives me a good reason to do it.
There you go.
Okay, well,
I like that triple option, man. I love that triple option.
Oh man, well, you know what I love? I love the fact that they got linemen that are 240 pounds.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Ken, when I got the opportunity to go over to Athens a couple of years ago with Speaker of the House Cameron Sexton, the great trip. That's when people started accusing me of being in bed with Speaker of the House Cameron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, he's a minion. He's doing his anyway. So we were down on the field, and it was the first time in some years. I'd done this a few years ago, but it was the first time in some years that I had been up close and personal with those big fellas.
Yeah.
Good Lord have mercy. Those are giants among us.
Yes, sir.
Those linemen are 6'5", 6'6", 350 and muscle.
Yes, sir.
They're just larger human beings than you and I are.
And they're all like 19 years old.
And they're all like 19 years old and could break you in half.
Yes.
Even the wide receivers are built bigger.
Yes.
It's like somebody took a human being and put it in a Photoshop machine and said, make this image 25% bigger. and then the human being came back out again.
Right.
That's always the way that I described Cam Newton. I was like, Cam Newton's like your perfect prototypical quarterback. He's just 30% bigger than any quarterback you've ever seen in your life.
Yes.
And now I think there's hope for you and me, Ken, because Phillip Rivers is like 80 years old, and he's going to get back on the field. How about that?
Yes, sir.
Jackson, how old's just yell it over there from across. How old's Phillip Rivers?
Old as hell.
Actually, I fact checked you. Gronk, yeah, and Gronk says you're right. He's old as hell. They were quite. Did y'all see the press conference where they were talking to him about how fat he's gotten?
No.
They're like, I mean, it's kind of funny. He's like, well, what would you say you weigh? I mean, do you know what you weigh today? Because he's like, a little round in the middle. He's playing with the grandkids and stuff.
Yeah, I think he's coaching like Little League.
Right. And he's like, look, I don't know what I weigh today, but if your question's alluding to the idea that I'm not exactly going to be elusive out of the pocket, he goes, you know what? Will opposing teams know where I'm going to be? Yes. But for 17 years, they knew where I was going to be. He said it's not exactly like I was fleet of foot when I was in my third year in the pros.
Yeah, he was a big
He was always a big fella.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they're saying he weighs like 250, 260 now. I mean, he's 6'5", so he played at 230 probably, 225.
Yeah.
And now they're saying he's like 260. He's like that, remember that Kentucky quarterback?
Yes.
Jared Lorenzen?
Jared. He was like 270 pounds
He was
or
like,
something like that.
He's a big chunk of meat, man, and could hurl a football. And I always said that Jared Lorenzen was like what John Daly would have been if John Daly had played football. He's like the John Daly of football.
He'd been drinking beer and
Smoking cigarettes and hurling darts. Smoking and hurling darts.
Oh.
What? Why are you cutting me off?
R.I.P.
Oh, John Daly?
No, Lorenzen.
Oh, is Lorenzen?
Really?
Really? Well, I didn't know all of that.
Oh, yeah, rest in peace.
R.I.P., Jared. I didn't know.
Sorry about that.
Well, my goodness, if the Lorenzen family is listening, I sincerely apologize.
Yes,
I mean that.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know. I mean, I wouldn't pick on him if I'd known he was dead.
Well, he was fun to watch. I mean, that was entertaining to watch a quarterback that big.
A big boy. Yeah, because it was weird. You don't see that kind of thing. All right, I got a couple of important things to get out, and I don't mean to bring the party down, but I do need to do this because it's on my heart to do it. We're going to get into the Columbia water situation. Hopefully, Sapicki calls us at 4. Andy Ogle's at 4:35 to talk about his back and forth between these ridiculous judges and himself. And listen, Andy is dead on right on this subject, and he's right to call these judges out, and someone should. These are not kings. These people are not beyond reproach. What the hell are you? If you don't think that you should be criticized publicly based on the way that you act in your court, then maybe you don't need to be a judge to begin with. And I understand there are crazy people willing to do crazy things on all sides of the political spectrum, and Andy Ogles didn't do anything wrong. More on that at 4:35 this afternoon. But it is on my heart to do this. So years ago, I had a really good friend that I met in Birmingham, Alabama, when I first got there, by the name of Lee Davis. And Lee was a talk show host in his own right, an absolute encyclopedia of college football knowledge. Like, Lee was a savant when it came to this stuff. It was weird. It was like he was wired differently. And what I mean is, if you asked Lee Davis a question about the Alabama football season from 1964, he would go through the games and tell you every game and every score and tell you like details. I mean, it was amazing. But he was also a political savant, and he knew the details of every presidential election in his lifetime. Just a great guy, an all-around great guy. And Lee was involved. He was my producer for a hot minute. He was my fill-in host for a hot minute. We were good friends. And years ago, Lee took his own life. I think he was 50. I think he was my age. I think he was 52, 53 years old. And it was completely out of the blue. No one around him, none of his friend circle saw it coming. His wife did not see it coming. I mean, I don't know, obviously you don't know the intimacy of the relationship that is husband and wife, but for as much as we know and as for much as she said, we didn't see it coming. One of the more controversial things that I ever did in Birmingham, Alabama was talk about Lee taking his own life on the radio because I did it against the wishes of his wife. But I did so, well, I won't go into the details because it is neither here nor there, but I did so because it was pressed upon my heart to do it at the time, and it is pressed upon my heart to do it again. Because a fella that none of you know, that I knew, by the name of Pascal Caputo, very weird name, has taken his own life. And he was a friend of mine. And not a good friend, not a talk every month friend, but so Pascal was the chief of staff of the city manager of Jefferson County. He held a variety of roles in Jefferson County politics. Jefferson County is like Davidson County for Birmingham, right? So Jefferson County is the county seat, or Birmingham's the county seat of Jefferson County. Anyway, and he was a higher up, a muckety-muck in the bureaucracy of Jefferson County, an all-around good guy. For you that have listened to my radio show for all the time that we've been here, you might recall that Pascal was on the show with us. He had gotten out of politics. He was into music. He was doing some things in the music industry. He stopped by. We said hello to him on the radio. And out of friendship, I talked to him a little bit about what he was trying to do with the music industry. And this is maybe a year and a half ago. It was before we moved to Afternoon Drive, I think, if I'm not mistaken. My memory's fuzzy on it. And I remember telling Erica at the time, after we got together, and Pascal and I texted a few times after his visit to Nashville. He still lived in Birmingham at the time, but he was in preparations of moving up here. And I remember telling Erica at the time, I was like, there's something behind his eye. He seems happy. He says he's happy. He talks happy. But there's something in his eyes that tells me that he's lying to me. And now he is gone. He has taken his own life some 1.5 years later. The only reason that I'm bringing this up, not to bring the show down, not to bring you down. We all, if you live long enough, you have experience with this. If you live long enough, you know someone. And for some of us, and I would include myself in this number, we know way too many people that have decided that for whatever reason that they cannot go on this earth. I am also well aware that a lot of times we have interactions with politicians and with people and in general that are argumentative in nature, that are negative in nature. You know, we get stuck on the little stuff. I'm guilty as charged, man. I get stuck and I gnaw on that bone and I'm not letting go of that bone until you tell me that I'm right and you're wrong. I get guilty of that. I'm guilty. Guilty as charged. But we're all human, right? And we all have feelings and we all have something inside of us that's probably going on that you don't tell anybody else about. And it just struck me like a ton of bricks when I got the news that Pascal killed himself on Thanksgiving Day. I found out probably 30 minutes before I walked into the studio. And while you don't know him, you know somebody. While you don't know him, I promise you that you've had an interaction in the last week or the last month or the last several months where you knew that something was on someone's heart and you couldn't identify it. All I beg of you, as much as we have a good time on this radio show, as much as we dig into politics, as much as we fight and fuss and yell and argue and whatever, just reach out to another human being during the holidays. And tell them that they matter. Tell them that they're important. It can save someone's life. We'll be back in just a moment on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Nashville Safe House. It is hunting season when it comes to safes in Nashville Safe House, right? I mean, it's hunting season, generally speaking. So if you're a gun aficionado and you hunt a lot, you need a place to put those guns after you're done with them, right? But you also need a place to put the things that protect the loved ones in your life. You get those things at Nashville Safe House, and you will not get a better deal going than right now during the holidays. They want you to buy a safe for the Christmas tree. They want you to buy something from Browning, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino, and the rest of the brands that you know and love. And they've got them at Nashville Safe House for less. Rebates galore at Nashville Safe House this time of year. You've got the Murphy Special going on in the lobby area right beside old Donald Trump. He's in there too. And then you walk into the showroom and you'll see hundreds, not tens, hundreds of safes. This is what they do at Nashville Safe House, and they do it better than anyone in the United States of America. And that means they do it better than anyone in the world. Go to NashvilleSafeHouse.com. That's NashvilleSafeHouse.com, or on 4th Avenue South in Nashville, and tell them I sent you to Nashville Safe House. Hi, friends. Matt Murphy for Volunteer Outfitters. Speaking of the holiday season, what are you doing? Volunteer Outfitters in Hendersonville has the boots and the cold weather gear that you need. Right now, Extra Tough, Muck, Durango, 15% off every single day. As a matter of fact, 15% off footwear every single day in the store at Volunteer Outfitters. They've got fall and winter apparel from top brands like Drake, Huck, Southern Marsh, and much, much more. They're over on New Shackle Island Road, right down the road from all those high prices. Tommy and the team at Volunteer Outfitters want to see you. They've got everything you need for the holidays. And right now, they have buy one, get one for 50% off on footwear for Christmas. That's right. So you buy a pair for yourself, it's already 15% off, and you get another pair for 50% off of that. Off of their already low prices. That's a good deal, folks. So, friends, go by, see them. See the already low prices. And by the way, T-shirt Tuesday in effect during the holidays. That means you go in, you buy anything, get a free T-shirt. At Volunteer Outfitters, don't show up empty-handed this Christmas. Volunteer Outfitters can get it done on New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We've got the full forecast and another traffic update here in 5 minutes. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk in court in person for the first time today. Tyler Robinson appearing thin, wearing a light blue dress shirt and a tie, and at times seen adjusting that tie before court. He was chatting, smiling, and chuckling with his attorneys there at the table. Fox News contributor, criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno was asked about his demeanor and whether his attorney, Catherine Nestor, told him to avoid showing emotion.
Now, maybe she had it, maybe she didn't. And, we also have to remember we've looked at him in a very small window here while he's in conversation with his lawyers. And I will not make any apologies for him. But what I will say is I think we have to give him a little bit more time to see how he comports himself rather than just the very small snippet we saw while he's in the middle of conversations.
Right now, the judge in the case is weighing whether or not to allow cameras in the courtroom through the trial. Here in Tennessee, a man convicted of raping and murdering a Chattanooga college student in 1988 has been executed. 64-year-old Harold Wayne Nichols died by lethal injection this morning at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville. Nichols admitted to killing 20-year-old Karen Pulley and was sentenced to death in 1990. Pulley's sister, Lizette Monroe, described the long wait for justice as, quote, 37 years of hell, expressing hope that this moment would allow her to remember her sister's life rather than her death. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia could walk free today after a Maryland judge ruled ICE has no legal basis to hold him. Legal contributor Royal Oaks telling us the Trump administration had tried to deport him to several countries.
The court noted Costa Rica's willingness to accept Abrego Garcia and criticized what she called the government's calculated effort to take that option off the table. The Trump administration said it was evaluating viable removal destinations.
Well, now his criminal case in Tennessee still pending. Channel 4 says trial on those human smuggling charges stemming from that 2022 traffic stop is set for January 27th. That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Hermitage got a crash partially blocking the off-ramp 40 eastbound to Old Hickory Boulevard. Then at the eastern split, a crash 40 westbound just past exit 213A. Over on the East Bank going eastbound, we got a stalled vehicle blocking the left lane at James Robertson Parkway. And right now in Montgomery County, got a stalled vehicle off on the right shoulder, 24 eastbound at MLK. Capitol View, a crash, 40 westbound after Church Street. And in Donaldson, a crash, Stewart's Ferry Pike near I-40. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy. And gentlemen, if you've noticed that you don't have the energy you once had and you're in your middle-age years, Tennessee Men's Clinic can help. Now, they can help just generally speaking on your energy levels, or if it has begun to affect you in other areas of your life, particularly your intimate areas, it can impact your relationship, your mental health, even your sense of identity. It can wreck your confidence if you're dealing with ED. That's why the good news is Tennessee Men's Clinic is here for you. They've been in Midtown since 2014. They've been in Cool Springs for several years and just opened a shop in Clarksville because they want to help you. Tennessee Men's Clinic is urology-based and staffed with multiple licensed providers who specialize in men's sexual health. This is not 1975, men. This is 2025, and you can get this situation behind you and get back in the game. That's what it's all about. It could be just as simple as a testosterone test to see where your levels are. Might be something a little more complex. Every situation different. But it's only $99 to find out. 615-208-9090, 208-9090, or online, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. For many of us, it's happening. Hair thinning, crown disappearing, maybe hair loss has you feeling like you're losing your identity. Well, I've got good news, men and women. The incredible, simple, one-day treatment that starts growing your own natural hair the very next day, and it's guaranteed to grow for life. It is the Advanced FUE from Advanced Hair. You've seen the pills and the lotions. Now, those come with monthly subscriptions, and that's all well and good. They might help you retain what you have, but they will never regrow the hair that you've lost. Advanced Hair is different. Their state-of-the-art facilities to their world-class doctors. It's not maybe, it's guaranteed that your new hair will grow. You decide how much, how thick, and where. It's Advanced Hair. They've changed tens of thousands of lives, and they can change yours. No one in Nashville has this. It starts with your free consultation. Call 629-348-HAIR, 629-348-HAIR. If you qualify, you get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that's redefining hair restoration. AdvancedHair.com. Thank you to all of you commenting on the super text line. Like I say, Pascal was a friend. He was not a good friend. We were not close. I don't want to misrepresent, but it is certainly sad. And it is just a reminder to me. And I understand that sometimes, well, I don't want to say it in a way that's going to come off weird. By the way, it's the Matt Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being around. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. If you'd like to be a part of the show, we would love to have you as a part of the show, specifically on the phone lines. It is my favorite thing to do, to talk to people on radio, to talk to you, to turn monologues into dialogues. And I thank you for making that a part of your day. I appreciate it. It's wonderful that we do that, even if you're Mike in Old Hickory. But maybe I'm just feeling a little maudlin. One way or the other, it just reminds me that sometimes the last time you talk to somebody will be the last time that you talk to somebody. That's it. That's what it reminds me. And I'm not suggesting that we live our life obsessing over that, but I do suggest that maybe we would all be. I am reminded. I know that I have a tendency to be an a-hole. Okay. Yeah, believe it or not, I know that. I know that I have a tendency to yell at people. I know that I have a tendency to be a bulldog, a pit bull in the arena, okay? But I think I live my life as a better man, reminding myself that the last time that I talk to someone might be the last time that I talk to someone. And I think we would all be better people if we recognize that, and recognize that for the most part, there are exceptions, obviously, and we can get down to cases and talk about how some people are just awful people or whatever. But with rare exception, most everyone has a potential for value. Everyone has value as a human being. But there's so much potential in almost everyone. It's one of the reasons I get emotional in the way that I do when we talk about men of valor and we go out there to Valor Ridge, because those are men who a large portion of the community simply gave up on. And men of valor did not. And so many of those individuals just become such wonderful and productive members of society. And Carl Carlson was one of those people, right, who started Men of Valor. And it just occurs to me, especially during the holiday season. Now, contrary to common belief, if I ask the audience what time of year statistically you see more suicide, most all of you would say the holidays. And that's not true. It's just not. And it very much like telling someone that a frog will not sit there while you slowly turn the temperature up and boil in a pot of boiling water. Believe it or not, the frog will just jump out. So that axiom, y'all know the one I'm talking about. If you put a frog in a pot of boiling and you slowly turn the temperature up real slowly, the frog will just sit there and die. No, the frog will not. The frog will leave. So it's not true. But people will fight you if you tell them that. And people will probably fight me on this point too, but statistically, and I've done the research, it's not true. It's actually summertime. It's late spring and early summer. But one way, it doesn't matter. Just hug your loved ones and tell people that you might not have talked to in a little bit if you see them, that you love them and you care about them. Robert is next up, first up for this edition of the show. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Matt. I didn't know if you were going to take phone calls on this, but I'm glad you took my phone call. I'm in law enforcement here in Middle Tennessee, and I've been doing it for about 9 years now, and I can't tell you how many suicides I've had to go to in the 9 years that I've been in law enforcement. And a lot of things that, people don't understand is like once you make that decision, the aftermath of the devastation to your family and friends, and it affects everyone. And it's kind of hard to talk about a little bit too, because, for the longest, before I got in law enforcement, I didn't think about it too much. And then the amount that happens is crazy. And like you were saying, talk to people. If you think that something's off, they're giving away their possessions, just all the signs, talk to them, because some of these people just don't think they're being heard, or they're going through a situation that nobody cares about, that they just feel like they are pushing their problems onto other people and stuff, and they just want to take their self out of that equation. Just talk to the people and tell them that, let them know that that's not an issue, that we're all here to bear everyone, bring each other up. One that hit close to home for me, when my daughter was born, my wife had very bad postpartum depression. And at the time I was working night shift. I was taking security jobs, working all the time to provide, and my wife was staying home with my daughter. And she expressed to me how she was feeling, and I guess being a man or whatever it is, I didn't understand what she was going through. And I kind of put it on the back burner. Years later now, my daughter's 15 now, everything's fine. But a few months ago, I had a woman that was also going through postpartum depression, took her life. And to see this newborn baby without its mother now, and this father grieving, it struck home. And I called my wife and I was like, I'm sorry. I did not realize it was how bad it could be. So just make sure that you're talking to these people, women that go through this. It's rough. And you don't understand how it affects people. So just make sure you're talking with your loved ones and stuff. It's hard to go through, and it stinks that, we're one of the first ones to respond to something like that. But
yeah, I can't imagine, Robert. God bless what y'all do. It's the things that y'all go through, it's just, y'all are a gift on earth, and we thank you for it.
Well, I appreciate it. I love what I do. There's parts of it that you wish you could, show up a little early and help these people. But that's all I wanted to express.
Robert, thank you for doing it. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you mean to your community, and thank you for those words. They're well spoken, and I appreciate them. 45 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. David is next up on this subject. Hello, David. How are you?
David, I'm doing good. Mr. Murphy, fan of the show. I want to say that first off. It's hard to follow Robert. I tip my hat to him, being a first responder, and God bless him for what he does. Far too many of us take them for granted. So it's hard to follow that call. I'm going to switch it a little bit there. and get your take on the failed health care votes today in the House or whatever it was. You know, the Republicans came out with this big, beautiful bill and said it was a victory, while the Dems were saying, hey, it's going to raise health care costs for millions of Americans. The Republicans said, no, it's not. 30 days ago, Matt, I got
hold on, David. I don't mean to interrupt you, but wait. When did the big, beautiful bill did not raise health care costs?
Well, my point is, I just got my health care for the end of the year, and it went up 6 times.
No. But there's no reason to lie about what happened 6 months ago. I know what happened 6 months ago. I mean, I'm not saying you're lying, but the subsidy was always going to expire. The subsidy was extended, and they added to the subsidy during COVID. It was a COVID era subsidy that was always designed to expire. That was a Democrat proposal that was supported by a couple of Republicans during the COVID. But Obamacare is a Democrat deal. It's not a Republican deal. Never has been.
Oh, no. And I probably misspoke there. You are 100% right. I agree. On the surface, the way it was spun, my point is that the way it was spun and the timing of the whole thing is going to eventually, because of most of us not being as well versed, the Republicans are going to lose the midterms because people like myself get this bill and it's 6 times what it was last year.
Whose fault is that, David?
Well, personally, it's the lobbyists. It's the healthcare system in general. It's our government. It's the whole system is absolutely broken, Mr. Murphy.
Well, some of us, David, are old enough to remember when we told everyone that this is what was going to happen with Obamacare. I mean, it was always designed to fail. It was always designed to fail. And asking the government, and so now people want a quick fix. And the Democrats are sitting there like rabid dogs waiting to offer what they consider to be the quick fix, which is what they wanted to do in 2010 when they passed this piece of crap. They want single-payer health care. That's what they want, and they're ready to do it, and it's going to make it worse. It's going to make it worse.
No. Yeah, I mean, yes, we have to pay the piper eventually. I get that. Why is it broken? Why, what happened back in 2010? What has not progressed in 15 years? Why have we sat on our butts, basically, with our hands underneath them and not done anything to fix this problem? But the whole thing, and I think we both agree on this, my take, though, is that people, for the most part, are going to see this, because of the way it was spun, as a failure by the Republicans because they just wanted to pass the bill. Now, I don't see it that way, but I'm saying that... To pass
what bill? The big, beautiful bill?
The big, beautiful bill was passed with the knowledge that, hey, healthcare was going to have... Something was going to have to happen.
The big, beautiful bill, the big, beautiful bill and the end of the subsidies have nothing to do with one another.
Of course they do, Matt.
Tell me, all right. If the big, beautiful bill had not passed, let's look at it this way, David. I'm going to try to help you. So if the big, beautiful bill had never passed, if it didn't get the votes to pass, would the subsidies be ending?
What would have happened?
No. The question is, if the big, beautiful bill had never passed, would the Obamacare subsidies be ending at the end of the year right now? Yes or no?
They would have. Yes, sir.
Yes, of course they would have. So what does the big, beautiful bill have to do with any of this?
Because the spin that the Democrats put on it with the timing of all of a sudden saying, hey, millions will lose health care. It's like a PR thing.
Well, I understand. The Democrats have the benefit of spending everything, and they claim that free money from the government is going to solve all of our problems, which is how they saw. They had the majority when they passed Obamacare, but that's how they sold Obamacare to begin with, that the government was going to fix all of this. And 15 years later, has government fixed all of this?
No, government is always the problem. Look at the post office. Look at anything they do. Just it just turns
And
terrible.
so the Republican solution is to get the government out of the way and allow the free market to take hold and to pass reasonable regulation, expecting that insurance companies are not going to take advantage of the people that they claim to serve.
And we know that's going to work, right?
All right. Well, I mean, you fault insurance companies. Insurance companies are in the business of collecting premiums. They're not in the business of paying out checks. I mean, I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to completely relook at people want free health care is what they want. And we need to completely relook at the way that we apply insurance to our healthcare industry. We have great healthcare in the United States of America, David. Great healthcare, but it's gotten it's gotten far too expensive because we've taken the patients out of the system. The patients don't have an ability to communicate with their doctors. They don't have an ability to determine what the rates are going to be. Instead, sadly, the physicians and the healthcare industry and the pharmaceutical industry are colluding to set the rates on their own. Now, they're not legally allowed to quote unquote collude, but they do it. They do it, and they set the rates. And it's a game that they play, and we need it. And the only way to get to the bottom of that is to get the government out of the way and to get us back to a better relationship with our doctors.
Yeah. Well, I guess my whole point, Matt, is that the way it has been spun, I mean, you're going to see it. People, for the most part, don't follow it as closely as you. I mean, you said this beautifully. You laid it out perfectly. Most American people aren't that smart, and they don't know it. On the surface, the way it's been spun, unless the Republicans do something drastic, they're going to lose the midterms.
No, I agree with you that the stupidity of the American people is going to lead to socialism.
Yeah. Well, look at New York. Look at Seattle. I mean, yeah, we're curving that way, unfortunately.
No, unless there is a sea change of attitude about taking over responsibility for ourselves and recognizing that we cannot in turn go to the government with our hands out for every issue that we find that comes upon us in our lives, it's going to happen. Yeah. It's going to happen in our lifetime, David. Sadly,
yeah, but you know. Yeah, well, there has to be some kind of happy medium here, because when you get your health care bill and it goes up 6 times, you know, you go, whoa, you know. And
we need to get I'm telling you, we need to get to a direct pay format in terms of our physicians. We need to stop expecting that health care should cover every little thing that goes on. We need to treat our bodies more like we treat our automobiles, David. We don't get insurance for oil changes, do we?
No.
Well, we should, and so we need to set up a more a la carte system designed to benefit those that need health care less and to protect those that need health care more. But the expectation is that it's either going to cost those people more, or as a society, we're willing to supplement those costs in order to make sure that people don't die as a result. I mean, that's what we got to do. Thank you for the call, David. I appreciate it. And I'm not yelling at you, David. I don't mean to sound like a jerk toward you. I understand that you are concerned, and you are not wrong that the perception is that the Republicans somehow broke health care, because that's what the media wants you to believe, and that's what the liberals want you to believe. The liberals are responsible for all of this. Not a single Republican voted, and I'm not trying to make it a partisan issue. I don't necessarily think it is, but not a single Republican voted for this garbage. And now the Democrats are running around screaming that the Republicans broke it and that they have to fix it. The Democrats broke it 15 years ago, y'all. 15 years ago. It's 54 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy. The Wellness Institute of Nashville is now the presenting trophy sponsor of Nincompoops in the News. We were telling you about that yesterday. We'll deal with that a little more at about 5:35 this afternoon. But right now, I want you to deal with your pain. Are you in pain? Are you hurting? Anywhere you're hurting, the Wellness Institute of Nashville can help. Dr. Mitchell and Dr. Ashley, you know, I like to say I made the switch to Dr. Mitch because I did. Because Dr. Mitch is just as good as that. He's good at what he does. If you have back pain, neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, elbow pain, anywhere that it hurts on your body, even your fingers and your toes, they can help. Their state-of-the-art non-surgical spinal decompression works. It works, folks, because it gets hydration, it gets nutrition to the places that you need it, and it helps heal those areas, and that gives you a healing focus on those areas as well. So give them a call. It's 615-246, 5009. 246-5009. Or painisbad.com. Ask about the Big Daddy Trump special. That's $12 to get you in. Comprehensive examination and a first treatment right there at the Big Daddy Trump special at the Wellness Institute of Nashville.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and a traffic update in 5 minutes. And real quick, couple of breaking news stories. Another grand jury has rejected charges from the Justice Department in Eastern District of Virginia to indict New York Attorney General Letitia James on alleged mortgage fraud. And Indiana Senate Republicans have rejected a new congressional map that would have given them more seats. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk was in court in person for the first time today. Tyler Robinson appeared thin. He was wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, at times seen adjusting that tie. And before court, he was chatting, smiling, and chuckling with his attorneys there at the table. Fox News contributor, criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno was asked about his demeanor and whether his attorney Catherine Nestor told him to avoid showing emotion.
Miss Nestor's job to make sure that she keeps him not only appropriate but calm and engaged. And so there's a lot of conversations you have with the client. You saw her put her hand on his arm twice. I mean, her job is to try to humanize a person that the world is looking at as a monster. And so she's in a tough position. And I think that, we will see him be respectful to the court. We'll see how he comports himself moving forward.
So the judge said the hearing today is to deal with a couple of issues, including updating the gag order, court security, whether or not cameras can be in the courtroom. Here in Tennessee, the state executed a man who admitted to raping and murdering a college student nearly 4 decades ago. 64-year-old Harold Wayne Nichols, sentenced to death for the 1988 killing of 20-year-old Karen Pulley in Chattanooga. Nichols died by lethal injection this morning at River Bend Maximum Security Institution. His lawyers argued for clemency, but the governor refused to intervene. Pulley's sister, Lisette Monroe, described the long wait for justice as 37 years of hell, expressing hope that this moment would allow her to remember her sister's life rather than her death. And a U.S. District Court judge in Maryland says ICE must release Kilmar Abrego Garcia immediately. Judge Paula Zenas found his detention violated federal law, claiming there's no removal order. Abrego Garcia was wrongly deported to El Salvador in March. Trump administration returned him after a Supreme Court ruling.
The administration at various points has talked about sending Kilmar Abrego Garcia to Africa, including to Uganda, Ghana, or Liberia. But Judge Paula Zenas now says he's never been issued a formal order of removal, and that, she says, makes his deportation impossible and his continued detention illegal. A spokeswoman for the Homeland Security Department responded by calling Zenas' ruling naked judicial activism by an Obama-appointed judge and vowing to fight it tooth and nail in the courts.
Abrego Garcia is still facing human smuggling charges here in Tennessee, for which Channel 4 says a trial is scheduled January 27th. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash reported 40 eastbound at Fessler's Lane. Rivergate, a crash. 65 northbound past Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. In Hermitage, a crash is partially blocking the off-ramp I-40 eastbound to Old Hickory Boulevard. And at the eastern split, police say there's a crash westbound right there at exit 213AB. And looking here in Clarksville, got a stalled vehicle. It's off on the right shoulder. 24 eastbound past ML King Parkway. I'm Ken Weaver.
Uh-oh. There's drama in this house. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Thank you for being around with us. 6 minutes after 4 o'clock, we're getting back to your telephone calls, which, as I said in the first hour, is my favorite thing that we do on a day-to-day basis on the Matt Murphy Show. That's coming up in just moments. There's Ken Weaver. He's back in News Closet B. He gathers headlines for a living, easy for me to say, delivers them twice an hour or when it breaks. Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
There's drama up in this house.
What is it?
All right, here it is. All right, so RJ's at the controls.
Yes, sir.
That is not the source of our drama. The source of our drama comes from young Jackson Williams.
Brother Jackson.
A.K.A. Y2J, A.K.A. J. Willie, A.K.A. Reaction Jackson, A.K.A. Action Jackson, A.K.A. Truffle Butter. So Jackson swings in during your news.
Yes, sir.
And Jackson says to me, because, Jackson's monitoring RJ. RJ's handling the show today and tomorrow. And Jackson is basically doing absolutely nothing right now.
Not a damn thing.
No, except cursing. Jackson pops in and says, you going to miss me? And I was like, well, not really. And he was like, you liar, you're going to miss me. And I'm like, whatever. And then he said, when are the, just a quick random question. This is my Jackson impersonation. When are the delicious treats going to start? The holiday treats going to start? And I said, listen, man, I don't know. I haven't said anything. I haven't talked to her about it, but the amount of holiday goodies might be significantly decreased because of this move.
Oh, yeah.
We're packing up. We're beginning the pack up process, the moving process. I mean, all of that's happening. And I can't speak for the number of treats that are coming this way. And I got to tell you, Jackson had a look on his face that was none too pleased, Ken. He was not pleased about it.
I'm a little despondent myself.
See, I tell you, there's some.
Especially that, that popcorn.
Ken's on my side.
That's what Jackson said. He goes, you mean to tell me we're not going to get any of that delicious popcorn with the stuff and the sprinkles and all of that on it? I was like, I don't know.
Dude, that was Christmas popcorn.
It was, and I have no idea.
It wasn't even Christmas.
I got no clue as to what's going to happen.
Matt,
Yes, RJ.
Jackson's sitting in the corner. I don't like the look in his eyes.
No, it's a look that I've not seen from Jackson. He's not pleased about this. Apparently, when Jackson made the agreement to come over to Super Talk from our sports brother station, 104.5 The Zone, part of the arrangement was that he was to expect snacks and goodies.
That was in the brochure.
The brochure.
There's a brochure out there.
I don't know. Apparently, there was a brochure. It was a part of the brochure. It was like, one of those Christmas tins.
Right.
You open them up, and it's got all the popcorn and the snackies and the goodies in there. Remember when people would run around the office, tried to sell you that crap, and you had to sign your name up to it?
Yes.
Remember, and you always felt the pressure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and sometimes they'd bring their kids in, these little jackbooted thugs that would run around demanding that, and they'd look up at you, Mr. Weaver, will you please buy our candy so that we can go on the scout troop?
And then your coworker is just sitting there smiling at you.
Like, come on, man.
What are you going to do, Weaver?
What are you going to do? I'm going to sign up for some damn fudge or something. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. And now I got Mac Morey.
Well, what about Brother Mac?
Mac Morey just texted me, asked me when I'm moving. Well, hopefully, fingers crossed, January 7th. As long as the inspection rolls through, that's happening on Wednesday. And then inspection, appraisal, and then yeah, as long as some of my fake credit cards continue to slide through in the underwriting process, I think we'll be all good.
So then you get the keys.
And then you get the keys. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Very excited. Very excited. Got to pass our radon test. I don't even know what that is.
Something in the dirt.
All right. I did a basic. It's like something that comes up. It's naturally occurring.
Yeah, it's naturally occurring, like I don't know, like radiation. It's like naturally occurring radiation. Got to be careful of it.
You know, I was asked if we wanted to do a lead paint test. My response was, I have no plans on licking the walls. I mean, I really don't.
No, sir, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Never know what happens in advanced age.
Just, would you please, RJ, give him something to do? I mean, is it...
I'm trying. He's just sitting over here. He's just fuming about not getting his holiday treats.
Okay.
Brother Jackson's going to call us from that Flying Eagle. He'll call us from the ride, I guarantee you. In fact, I want him to.
I want him to. You know you have to take that trophy with you now.
You do, Brother Jackson. You got to take a picture
Carl
of you.
always flying with the trophy.
Your big old mouth wrote a check that your butt now has to cash. You've got to take that trophy to Gatlinburg, Tennessee with you. You have to.
And if nothing else,
I may not win nincompoops this week.
You've already won 2 days.
Yeah.
I've won one. We've each won one.
Oh, wow.
That means so today could be the deciding factor.
Today is the deciding day, and I think I'm going to tank on purpose, Ken. My nincompoop's just going to be some dude that got arrested.
I'm going to tank because I can't find one.
Me either. I'm in trouble. All right, back to your calls here in just a second. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We appreciate all of you. People are asking where I am moving. I'm going to have an official moving story. I don't want to screw anything. I'll tell you what. We will talk about this after we pass inspection. Because
there you go.
if we get to everything's fine, the contract has been agreed to, but we got to get somebody out there to inspect this house. And I don't want to screw anything up. I don't want to jinx anything. So I'm not saying another word about where it is in Murray County. We've established that. So I will be a Murray County resident. And if you were listening yesterday, I told you the town. So we're going to suspend that conversation until we get past inspection. When we get past inspection, then we can talk a little further. And by the way, can I just give an unsolicited shout out to my realtor, Debbie Matthews? She's been wonderful. Now, Accurate Mortgage has been great. They're wonderful people, and I'm dealing with some other fine sponsors of the show in helping me out in a variety of different ways. I'm going to get insurance from T King Insurance to insure my house and those sorts of things. I mean, obviously, I'm going to use the sponsors that I tell you to use because that's the way it works on the Matt Murphy Show. But thank you. Debbie is just a delight, and I've known Debbie, well, since I've been in town. She reached out to me. Gosh, one of the first, some 4 years ago. Oh, y'all know what Saturday is, by the way? I just realized what Saturday is. Sunday's my anniversary. Thank you, RJ, for contributing to the show. My actual my wedding anniversary is Sunday, but my radio anniversary is Saturday. How about that?
You got a big old weekend coming, Brother Murphy.
We have it is 4 years. I started on this radio station December 13th, 2021.
All right.
4 years ago. And I have loved every single moment of it, and I hope that you've loved at least some of it for those of you listening, and I appreciate every single one of you. How about that? That's pretty cool. So episode 942 will be our official celebration of 4 years on the radio together.
All right.
I love that. Love it. Love it. And Ken Weaver, when I first started here, Ken Weaver said, well, thank goodness I'm not with that loud mouth. And then now look.
I didn't say that. I loved it, man. I used to love the way you say on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk.
Super Talk. That's where I got that from you.
Oh, I don't know about that. But yeah, Super Talk.
Well, it's kind of
Murphy Show.
like a runoff of how you would do it.
Murphy Show, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Yeah, Murphy Show. Coming up on Murphy. That's what I freaking loved whenever you say, coming up on Murphy.
Well, I decided years ago, I don't do it so much anymore, that it's not, I don't call it it's Murphy Show.
It's Murphy Show.
Yeah, it's just Murphy Show. That's what it is. It's me and it's the show. Stanley has a few things to say. Hello, Stanley. You are next up on the Matt Murphy Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Matt, how are you doing today?
Good, Stanley. Thank you for calling.
Matt, I want to talk about Phil Valentine. I lost my 6-year-old son 20 years ago to cancer. Phil Valentine, Johnny B., and Pamela Furr were more than just talk show hosts to me. They were a set of my counselors. When I was having one of those days that you've just been talking about, I could turn on 99.7 and they would do something to give me a reason to smile or to grin. I want to thank you and Dan Mandis and Brian Wilson for keeping this show genuine and true. And Jackson, you're right up there with my man Johnny B. I want to thank you for all you've done. And my point to this conversation is you don't know what words may have a lasting impact and change somebody's mood or life for just one day or one moment. So I want to thank you for all you do.
Well, thank you so much, Stanley. I mean, I stand in the shadow of great men and women that have come before me. People like Brian Wilson and obviously the great Phil Valentine, who just gone way too soon. And let me tell you something, Jackson. You just received some really high praise, buddy boy, that you do not in any way deserve. I mean, there is not an ounce of Johnny B inside of you.
Oh no, I'm not. I can't hold the candle to
Johnny B? Are you kidding me?
That was good.
Now,
I appreciate it though. That's why I'm not yelling across the room no more.
That's pretty nice. That's cool. That's actually pretty cool. And people think Jackson's a funny guy, and he is. He's a funny guy. He does absolutely nothing else to contribute to the radio show, but he's a funny guy. I guess funny's enough. You know, get you a long way in life. We do. Everybody. Oh, look, everybody's talking about how much they love you. That's so sweet.
Brother Jackson, he's going to take over nincompoops.
I don't like it. Ken, I don't like it.
He's finding all the good naked ones, and I don't know where he's getting them at. I'm typing in naked man getting arrested, and nothing's coming up for me.
Wow.
I got a good one today, though. I found one. You guys are going to like it.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that. All right. No Sapicki today. Sapicki's heading down to there's a vote tonight in Columbia on the water issue, the power and water issue. Sapicki says very complicated. He said that the hope is, and I think I can relate this to you, he cannot come on today. He's trying to herd cats down there. He said he will be speaking on it tonight. And I think I can say this, Scott. If I can't, I'm going to. So you better text me not to real quick because I'm about to say this. It is Representative Sapicki's hope, as stated to me via text, that we have a pause, that there is no vote on the water issue tonight, the intake issue in the water treatment plant. And I'll leave it at that. But he does say that he thinks he'll be able to come on tomorrow and talk about it, and hopefully that there will be a pause tonight. So that's what we know about the water issue in Columbia thus far. Coming up in about 15 minutes or so, Andy Ogles will join us on the show. AJ is next. Hello, AJ. How are you?
Hello. How you doing?
Great, man. How are you? Well, I'll just ask you that. Never mind.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the kind words you guys do for us. Make us laugh and get through the day. But anyway, on this so-called Maryland man that they want to call him Maryland man all the time, isn't he illegal? I thought he was illegal. I didn't think he was an American citizen. He came across illegally.
That is correct. He is not a Maryland man. Never has been.
Exactly. So why do judges think they got any right to tell ICE they have to let him go?
Well, because these judges have decided that they know better than what the law says, that they know better than the Trump administration that we elected to do these types of things, that they know better than you and than me. They believe that somehow some concept that they would suggest would be, quote unquote, human rights outweighs the Constitution of the United States of America and our right to live peacefully among our fellow Americans without invasion from foreign entities. I mean, this judge is an activist judge that needs to be taught her place.
Yeah, I'm angry. It really, people pay attention to what's going on with these judges. They doing everything that we want Trump to do. They're trying to fight him against. I am getting really angry about it. So don't let us lose in the midterms. Thanks for all y'all do. And Jackson, you are funny.
Jackson's a funny guy. Jackson, there's another vote for your funniness. Jackson, I would say Jackson's going to get the big head. But I think Jackson, that kid, that one was not on RJ. That one was on Jack. You know what Jackson's doing now?
What?
I'm looking at him over there. He's sitting in the corner like King Henry, and he's pointing. Turn on the mic there. Turn on. He's pointing like, microphone, please, microphone, please. It's like he's holding court in there in the control room. 6761 says, that's all we need is another reservoir with a bunch of California Yankees moving here, driving our prices through the roof. They've already ruined Tim's Ford to where nobody can afford to live in Tennessee but freaking Yankees. The dam issue is one part of the potential solution, but that's not what we're talking about. The vote tonight from Columbia Power and Water would be to vote to borrow roughly $500 million from the state government in order to build a new intake and to build. And I guess I don't know exactly where that intake would be coming from. If someone does, hit me up on the super text line. But it would be an intake and a water treatment facility to increase the ability for Columbia Power and Water to offer their water resources to a growing community. By the way, I heard from the mayor of Spring Hill last night, and I want to correct something. I was learning about this in real time, and I did not and would not suggest that I have all of the information. Spring Hill wants everyone to know that they are not dependent on Columbia Power and Water sources. According to the mayor of Spring Hill, he says that, yes, they do buy water from Columbia Power and Water, but they are not dependent upon that water purchase. And so any suggestion that this would cripple them or that they would necessarily have to pass this along to ratepayers is incorrect. So the mayor of Spring Hill wanted everyone to know that. They felt like that in some ways the issue was being misrepresented as it applied to Spring Hill. So just wanted to get that out there. 23 after the hour. Jackson, did you have anything to say? I just didn't want... I mean, you're sitting over there. You're like in your corner. You've got your scepter and your crown. Anything else?
I got a big old grape.
He says he's got a big old grape, like a bunch of grapes, like you're getting fed. Oh,
I was talking about his head.
Oh, talking about your head. Your melon. That's your melon, Jackson, and it is a big old melon.
Well, I think he's talking about how kings get fed grapes by concubines.
That's what I thought. By the way, I thought somebody hit us up. They're in line at In-N-Out today.
Yeah.
They've been in line for an hour. And I said, what are you going to get us? And they said, and I quote, this is on the super text line, and I quote, what do you want? And I was getting ready to start typing our order, man, when they said, I've only got $13.87.
That's all that's going to buy is a shake.
That's very, very specific, that amount of money. You know what I should do is see how much pull I've got with these people and say, okay, well, then buy me my food, and you can go back and get yours.
You can get it another day.
Yeah, right?
I'll let you know how good it was.
Y'all think Mandis went back today?
You know he did.
Yeah, I bet he did.
He's probably going to be there every day.
I bet he did. I'll go to In-N-Out Burger. I look forward to trying some In-N-Out. Don't you? Do you, Ken?
Yeah, as long as my wife goes down there, which she says she's going to do it tomorrow when the one opens up in Murfreesboro.
Oh, is it open in Murfreesboro tomorrow?
Yeah.
So that Lebanon, Murfreesboro, how many other locations are open?
Antioch.
Is that it? 3 locations so far? And
That's-
they're going to do one in Franklin, right?
Yes, sir. I believe so.
What, Jackson? What do you?
I was going to say Antioch.
Why, Ken? I know we have to go to break. Why is it so much funnier that he's yelling from across the room? I don't know why that is.
Dude,
It's so funny.
Brother Jackson's got a unique voice and a great accent.
And
It's just awesome.
His voice plus noise equals funny.
He'll contribute from the show, but he's not gonna get his butt up and walk to the microphone to do it. He's just gonna so y'all just imagine every time Jackson's on mic, he has to demand that RJ turn the mic on, but he won't get up.
It's good to be king.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You've heard the forecast. I forced Ken Weaver to tell you what the weather's going to do this weekend because he doesn't like looking at it, doesn't like seeing it. And people that don't like cold weather, I'm sad to tell you, it's cold. It's going to be cold this weekend. We've had a couple of cold snaps, and if you've noticed that the heater's not running as you think it should, it's time to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. I trust that Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling will do the right thing for you and your family. They'll get you back up and running efficiently, swiftly, and for the least amount of money possible. If you need a second opinion on whether or not you need a new unit, you need to call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They are the king of second opinions. Secondarily, they'll never charge you more than $125 to maintenance your unit. That's a promise to you. Thirdly, if it's time, they'll tell you it's time. Sometimes your unit just runs out of life and it's kaput and it's time to get a new one. And if that time has come, they're an elite pro partner with Rheem, and they can recommend the right one for you and your family. Call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. I mean, you know the deal, right? That heater has a life cycle on it, and if it's not running right, you need to get it running right for your family. With Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, 615-784-4424, 784-4424. Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy. Genesis Diamond shines this time of year. The cases are jam-packed with all of the best gifts. Highest quality at the guaranteed best prices around. Guaranteed best prices around. You heard me correctly. And listen, this December at Genesis, you can get the holiday jewelry that she wants at $0 down and no interest for 5 years on approved credit. So you can go big without going broke. Pick any item. Spread your payments over 5 years at 0 interest. That $6,000 ring just became real affordable, gentlemen, at $100 a month. You do the math. No interest. Genesis non-commissioned experts are ready to help you find the headliner gift that she wants this holiday season. From a few $100 to a few $100,000, whatever your budget is, they're going to help you at Genesis Diamonds. Green Hills and Cool Springs, the place for the spectacular holiday gift of the season is at Genesis Diamonds.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia, according to Channel 4, has just walked out of federal immigration detention. We'll tell you about that coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Oh, Jackson, he just got a little verklempt. Ah, you did. I saw you. You've got a little pull him up in there. You got a little heart in there. I saw it go pitter pat.
What does verklempt mean?
Stand by for news. He's working on your microphone here. RJ is going to make it happen. I feel it in my bones. All right, go.
Yo.
What?
Got me?
Yeah.
What does verklempt mean?
Well, that'll be your word of the day, Jackson. You can look that up on the way to Gatlinburg. When are y'all going?
We're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah? You excited?
I am.
We'll talk more about that in the 5 o'clock hour.
I might be a nincompoop in the news. I might try to pet a bear.
How about this one, Ken Weaver? You ready?
What?
This is very sweet. As a 79-year-old conservative retired teacher and great-grandmother, I fell for Jackson the first day he was on WTN.
Yes, sir.
I'm alone, and he makes me smile.
All right.
That is very sweet. It's the first teacher to ever have a positive note about me.
Most of the time, they're just telling you to go to the office.
Go to the office and shut up. Now I talk for money.
Now you need to go on because things are getting a little out of control. 7142 says, I don't know what Jackson makes, but pay him more. Y'all simmer down, everybody. Simmer down. We got news to do on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And again, I just saw a news alert from Channel 4 that Kilmar Abrego Garcia has just exited the jail he was in, immigration detention there in Maryland. That comes after a federal judge there today ordered his immediate release. And that brought quick reaction, strong reaction from the White House. Here's Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
The White House, the administration opposed this activism from a judge who is really acting as a judicial activist, which we've unfortunately seen in many cases across the country. Abrego Garcia is present in our country illegally. He is a proven human trafficker. He is a proven gang member.
ABC News legal contributor Royal Oakes.
The federal judge who ordered Abrego Garcia's release said the government lacked authority to keep him in custody. The Trump administration says it was pursuing legal removal options under its immigration policies.
So Channel 4 says with no immigration issues blocking Abrego Garcia's return to Tennessee, he will be coming back to Tennessee to face trial on human smuggling charges, which he has denied. Channel 4 says that trial is set for January 27th. Meanwhile, the man accused of murdering conservative commentator Charlie Kirk was in court in person today. Here's ABC's Alex Stone.
Physically in court for the first time rather than by video link, Tyler Robinson, accused of murdering Charlie Kirk, appeared thin, wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, at times seen adjusting that tie. Before court started, he was chatting, smiling, and chuckling with his attorneys.
Counsel, as we're moving forward today,
The judge said the hearing was to deal with a couple of issues, including updating the gag order, court security, and attempts by the media to unseal case documents. Alex Stone, ABC News.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, we've got a stalled vehicle in Glencliff. It is blocking the right lane, 24 eastbound, just past Briley Parkway. Rivergate, a crash. Police say it's 65 northbound past Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and Clarksville. The scanner is telling us there's a stalled vehicle on the right shoulder there, 24 eastbound, just past ML King Parkway. And now in Franklin, a stalled vehicle on the shoulder. The right shoulder, that is, 65 southbound at McEwen Drive. And in Madison, we got a crash. Tennessee 45 at Myatt Randy Road. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Tennessee Flight Training. If you're looking for a perfect Christmas gift for the adventurer in your life, how about a flight experience from Tennessee Flight Training? I did this last year, y'all, and it's pretty cool. I went up in a little Cessna, and my instructor, Justin, took us all around Nashville, Tennessee. He even let me take the controls. It was a very, very cool experience. So if you're just looking for a cool experience, that's one thing. But if you are thinking about learning to fly yourself, you can meet and fly with a certified instructor from any of their 3 Middle Tennessee locations. Nashville B&A, of course, Murray County Regional, or Shelbyville Municipal. Step inside the aircraft and learn to fly on your very first day. The aviation industry, you should note, is facing a serious pilot shortage. So if you're thinking about a career change, dream big. Make this Christmas the most memorable yet by going up with Tennessee Flight Training, and think about the incredible opportunities. You're never too old or too young to fly, so take advantage of the introductory flight experience. Go to tnflighttraining.com, tnflighttraining.com. Book today at 615-366-9192. Tennessee Flight Training. The skies are calling. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show. I'm in the middle of a radio show, and I'm in the middle of responding to folks on the Super Text line. I'd love to talk with you, 615-737-9986. Thank you for being a part of the show today. We're heavy into it. We are discussing the healthcare issues going on in Washington, D.C. We talked about that a little bit the first hour. We'll get into some of the Columbia water issues coming up in the next hour, and maybe our next guest might have a thought or two on it. I know he's been laser focused on some of the activity happening in Washington, D.C. And I should note, in the 6 o'clock hour, we will have Norm Parton, our good friend. Many of you know Norm from his years on radio, to include a show right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN years ago. He is a friend of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, more knowledgeable about that situation than anyone, and he will talk with us about that in the 6 o'clock hour. Right now, we are pleased to welcome back to the show Representative Andy Ogles of the 5th Congressional District of the great state of Tennessee. Andy, Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well, my friend.
Doing great, and thanks for having me on.
Well, of course, it's always a pleasure, and I continue to be fascinated as to how our friends I use friends with those air quotes, on the political left react to what most of us recognize is common sense and the reality on the ground that you express on a regular basis with regard to how we're mollycoddling criminals in our communities. And the latest example, and I know you've been talking about this a lot, and I'm glad you are, is this Somali national by the name of Muhammad, who was bouncing around the court system forever, was let out multiple times, and you criticize these judges that do this type of thing, and somehow you're the bad guy? How does this work, Andy?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's just it. That if you speak out, if you speak up, they immediately label you a radical or a racist, or somehow that, you don't like people because maybe they don't look like me. But we have to start acknowledging the truth. And so there's two components to this specific case. One is the fact that he was a repeat offender, and we'll talk about that. But the other one is understanding and recognizing where he came from, and that his culture is incompatible with the United States of America and Europe. And so, this is a guy who had been arrested 21 times. This is a guy who had been released because of judges a dozen times, drug charges. But and just not drug charges. And if I sound flustered, this just gets me so pissed off. But indecent exposure, sexual battery. This guy, and I use this example, if I had a pit bull that was known to be violent, and I go to the park and I let that pit bull go into a crowd, I'm responsible for what happens next. They let an animal loose on the streets of Nashville, and he raped a woman to death on the steps of a church. Need I say more? Now, you can label me all you want, but I am fighting and doing the jobs that these judges and this district attorney has failed to do. And here's the next part of it. We now have found out that the DA in Nashville is looking to invoke Jillian's Law, which means that this guy would get off. He would go to some cushy mental hospital. So I've talked to ICE, I've talked to Homeland Security, and at the first legal moment, he's going into custody and he's going to be deported. If he's crazy, he can be crazy in another country, but no longer will he be a threat to the wives and daughters in this country.
Well, and I find that the left does this all the time, right? That if they are allowed, it seems, to say anything and everything that they want about men and women in uniform, our Immigration and Customs Enforcement agent, Border Patrol agents, our men and women on the streets of the Metro Nashville Police Department, our National Guardsmen, they say anything and everything they want, call them the nastiest names, Hitler, Gestapo, Nazis, all of these types of things. And we point out how that might endanger them, and they're like, "What? We have free speech." Back on the street are indirectly responsible for the death of this woman. And there's no way around that. Letting him back out gave him the ability to rape and kill a woman. And for that, they start clutching their pearls, talking about their own personal security. And I love what you said in response to that, Andy, and that is, what about her security?
Yeah, where were they? Where were they when she was being raped, when she was being murdered? And by the way, it was firemen in a truck that drove by that saw this happening, and they stopped the truck and they got out and he ran off. Unfortunately, she succumbed to her injuries. But that being said, it's like, but this is a pattern of behavior that we're seeing in blue cities. So you look at Minneapolis, Cedar Riverside, which is quite frankly a Somali hub. Crime rose 56% between 2010 and 2018. You look at Dearborn, Michigan, crime 105% above the national average, a Muslim hub. You look at Hamtramck outside of Detroit, 92% of assaults are by Muslim immigrants from places like Somalia. Drug arrests, 85% Muslims from countries like Somalia. We have to accept and talk about this tough conversation that they are incompatible with our society, and the facts speak for themselves. And we can also talk about Paris. We can talk about London. We can talk about Rome. We can talk about Sweden, where the migrant population is 10 to 12% of the population and 80% of the rapes. I am not going to stand by and let that happen to Nashville. I'll be damned what these judges do. I'll be damned what this district attorney does. But I'm going to ride through the streets like Paul Revere, and I'm going to warn people they are coming, they are here, and you better wake up.
I know you mentioned this to Dan, and you alluded to it today. Dan Mandis, obviously, of Nashville's Morning News, when you were on with him earlier in the week, that you have been in contact with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So you are making sure that no matter what any local authority might do, that ICE is aware that this individual needs to be out of our world.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Very good. Well, I mean, what more can be done about these judges? I mean, is there a real way that we can see better in our judicial system in Nashville? What can we do?
This is the people. The people vote, right? And look, political violence of any kind is unacceptable. And I wish ill will on no one. But we have to understand, we have to recognize the fact when you let someone out, again, the dude was arrested 21 times. He was released, he got off 12 times. Sexual battery, indecent exposure. This guy was clearly a predator in the waiting, and this crime was preventable. And quite frankly, he should have never have been here. He should have been deported. He came in 2015. Back in the day, not to bore you, but in 1965, we passed the Hart-Celler Act, which essentially set up the mechanism for wave migration. And over the course since 1965 to present, we've had this enormous amount. 60 million immigrants have come to this country. 90% are from third world countries. Individuals that, quite frankly, don't offer a lot to society. I wish they did. But we're going to have to get back and recognize, you know what, we need carpenters, we need doctors, or we need IT professionals. And those are the types of decisions that we make on a quarterly, semi-annual, or an annual basis. And so who we let in today might be different than who we let in tomorrow. I said it in committee today in Homeland Security. Kristi Noem was in my committee today where I talked about this is our country. We get to decide who comes in. We also get to decide, Matt, who has to leave. And people like this that are repeat criminals and they're drug addicts and they're from a third world, for that matter, from a tier 2 country, they need to get the heck out.
Well, I understand your passion and I share your frustration on this point, but it doesn't seem like it's getting through to some of the judges in the United States of America. I'm sure you're aware that a federal judge in, I guess, Maryland has now ordered Immigration and Customs Enforcement they're trying to release Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was illegally in the United States of America, and he was human trafficking in this country. At least he's accused of human trafficking in this country, and the federal government says they have the evidence to convict him of that. Regardless of whether or not he's convicted on that front, he needs to be out of the country because he's not here legally. Yet a judge is now ordering, U.S. District Judge Paula Zinnes is ordering that Immigration and Customs Enforcement release this man. It's just fascinating. I mean, what part of the law don't they understand, Andy?
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating, and that's that's why I wanted to come to D.C. to, quite frankly, get D.C. out of Tennessee. But we are fighting against a system that has really been corrupted by woke ideologies, and at the end of the day, this is about personal safety, and we are behind the curve when it comes to. And I say that. Let me clarify that context. Europe has allowed just this mass wave, even larger than the United States, when you kind of look at from a ratio perspective. And so we can look at what happens to Paris. We can look at what's happened in London and Rome. When we look at, quite frankly, again, when you let people in from countries that are incongruent, they're incompatible with Western culture. And again, you look at Rome, 83% of 2024 street robberies were non-EU citizens, most of which were from Africa, West Africa, Muslim countries. London, 40% of sex crimes by foreigners, again, mostly Muslims from Africa. And then Paris, 48% of crimes committed by foreigners, most of which were Muslims. I mean, and all that data, that was from the French Interior Ministry. I didn't make that up. From London, that's from the Metropolitan Police Department. Rome, that data is from the Italian police. And so we have data. We can learn from the mistakes of our counterparts in Europe on what mass migration does from countries like Somalia, how it just changes and it destroys communities. And we have to wake up in this country. And I get criticized for this, but The facts are the facts, Matt. And now we're seeing it in Minneapolis. We're seeing it in Dearborn, Michigan. And you know what? Nashville, it's on your doorsteps. In fact, it was on the steps of a church, and a woman was raped to death at the hands of a Somali Muslim.
Andy, thank you for drawing attention to this issue. I do appreciate that. Obviously, there are other matters going on in Washington, D.C. right now, too, and I know that we'll have an opportunity to speak on those. But this needs to have the white-hot spotlight on it. These judges need to understand that no one is wishing any sort of violence upon them. You did not. I do not. None of us do. We abhor political violence of all sorts, at all stripes, toward anyone. At the same time, calling these judges out and holding them to account, that is a different matter, and that's exactly what you're doing, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And look, you and I have gone back and forth on issues where you hold me to account, and I appreciate that. And we've had these robust conversations, and we've agreed and we've disagreed. Most of the time we do agree, but that's part of the process. And when I put forward myself into the public sphere, I want to hear from my constituents. And quite frankly, I think what's different here is these judges are used to of being beyond reproach and without question. They made a mistake here.
Yep.
Quite frankly, in Nashville, they've been making a lot of mistakes. We have known criminals, and I'm not going to get into all the details, but we have 18,000 terrorists in this country that were let in under the Biden administration. 18,000. That's not made up. Literally, the FBI was in Homeland Security Committee today, and we talked about it. And so we've got to recognize that there are people in this country that don't like you, Matt, and they don't like me either, and they wish us harm.
Well, and Congressman, I'm glad you brought that up, because every time you come on, people, hit me up and go, I thought you and Andy didn't like you. Look, Andy and I have disagreed on issues, but I hope that we are the example of how two people who are like-minded on 90% of the stuff can disagree on 10% of the stuff and remain friends and focused on the other 90% that we agree on. Would you concur with that, Andy?
Absolutely. I'm pretty sure the last time I saw you, I gave you a big hug.
That's right.
In a bro kind of way, right?
Yeah, a bro hug. That's exactly right. Well, listen. Thank you for drawing the attention on this issue. It needs it. We appreciate that. Anything else you need from us in terms of getting the word out, you know where we are, and we always enjoy the conversation.
Absolutely. Thank you, and God bless.
Take care. There's Andy Ogles, 5th Congressional Day. And look, you're right. Y'all are right. Andy and I disagree vehemently on certain things, and on certain issues. Andy takes up certain issues, and I've told him that I feel like there are more important issues. This is one of the more important issues, which is why I agree with him and why we highlight it. 615-737-9986. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Want to know about a place where European Auto Repair doesn't feel like European Auto Repair? Hey, friends, it's Matt Murphy, and I'm telling you, the moment you walk into Eurofix, you'll notice Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms are clean and comfortable. They're inviting. Service areas are spotless, because Eurofix cares about everything, from how you're treated to how your vehicle's treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs. Eurofix performs at below-dealer pricing, because that's going to save you money, and they're able to do it because of their low overhead. You don't have to put up with dealer prices or get ghosted when you're waiting on a callback. Eurofix fixes everything European, plus they offer a rental car available at every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. 844-EUROFIX. 844-EUROFIX, or online at myEurofix.com. That's myEurofix.com.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast. Another traffic update coming up in 5 minutes. And Kilmar Abrego Garcia is no longer in ICE custody following a federal judge's order in Maryland. He has been released. He was living in Maryland when he was deported to his home country of El Salvador, but that apparently was a mistake. So the Trump administration returned him to the U.S. to face human smuggling charges stemming from that 2022 traffic stop here in Tennessee. Here's ABC News legal contributor Royal Oakes.
The federal judge found Abrego Garcia had been re-detained without lawful authority, saying the government had no legal basis to remove him to a third country. The court's order pointed to shifting plans to send him to multiple countries.
So Kilmar Abrego Garcia is out of ICE detention, but strict conditions apply. He has to live with his brother in Maryland, look for work, and stay within Tennessee and Maryland unless pretrial services approve travel. The Tennessee judge in the human smuggling case barred him from contacting co-defendants or MS-13 gang members and ordered drug testing ahead of his January 26th trial here in Nashville. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk appeared in court in person for the first time today. Tyler Robinson looked thin, dressed in a light blue shirt and tie, occasionally adjusting that tie. And before proceedings began, he was seen chatting and laughing with his attorneys there at the table. Fox News contributor and criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno weighed in on whether his demeanor was deliberate or coached.
As a lawyer who sits at those tables all the time, I have those conversations with my client, whether there's cameras there or not. There's always people watching you, whether it's the jury, whether it's the courtroom personnel, the judge, the prosecutors, anybody that's there watching. So it doesn't even need to be a camera for you to have that conversation.
Now, the judge says this hearing is to deal with updating the gag order, court security, and whether or not the media can have cameras in the trial. Here in Tennessee, a man convicted of raping and murdering a Chattanooga college student in 1988 has been executed. 64-year-old Harold Wayne Nichols died by lethal injection this morning at Riverbend, a security institution here in Nashville. That's maximum security institution. Nichols admitted to killing 20-year-old Karen Pulley and was sentenced to death in 1990. After today's execution, Pulley's sister's husband told the media,
"No punishment can ever atone for the loss of Karen's life or the damage done to her family, nor is there a punishment that can heal the many victims and families forever broken, battered, and scarred by this man. But this is a start. We are relieved that the nightmare is over and take comfort knowing he never again will be able to hurt anyone else."
The execution marks Tennessee's third this year and 46th nationwide. And today, the U.S. Senate failed to pass either the Democratic or Republican proposals to tackle the rising cost of private health insurance. The GOP plan was to put up to $1,500 into health savings accounts. The Democrats wanted to extend the expiring Obamacare tax subsidies. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. It is stop and go pretty much all over downtown if you're trying to get home, especially northbound 65. That actually starts at Briley Parkway. Stop and go northbound 65 trying to get up to the South Loop. I mean, it is bumper to bumper. Same goes for eastbound South Loop over to 65, northbound North Loop up to the Northern Split, then eastbound East Loop over to the downtown Split. We are looking over here on 440 over by Vanderbilt, and both directions are pretty slow, but more so if you're eastbound 440 over to 65. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. It's the Matt Murphy Radio Show. Halfway home, 6 minutes after 5 o'clock to be precise, this Thursday edition, and we are glad that you've decided to join us. Several of you commenting on our conversation with Andy Ogles. Specifically, there was one individual that is very upset. Well, not very upset with me. I don't want to overstate the case, but wonders, how is it that you can lambast Andy Ogles on one day and act like his buddy on another day? I'm paraphrasing the complaint. I have had issues with Andy. Andy and I have worked on those issues. We've worked out those issues. I disagree with him certain things that he does. He knows that, and I know that. But, in the spirit of full disclosure, 8726 says, yesterday you expounded with your Tennessean buddy's assertion that Ogles is regularly over the top and performance purposed. Today you treat him like a beer buddy. And I said, I think he's right on this issue. I respect that, Matt. But for many months, you've been making insinuations and comments referring to Andy as being shady or having participated in illegal activity. If that's your honest position, fine, but don't act like you're all of a sudden bosom buddies when he comes on to talk about a rare issue that you agree on. You appear two-faced, to be honest, my friend. And I agree he's right on this issue. In light of the current double standard environment, he probably should have chosen his words more carefully. I don't believe that he should have chosen his words more carefully. I do believe that these individuals need to be called out to account. I think when Andy engages in activity and the type of activity that you're referencing, and I've talked with him about these subjects on air and off, when he's filing paperwork so Donald Trump can have a third term as president of the United States of America, for example, I think that's performative in nature. I don't agree with all of that. I mean, I think it's, I think there are more important things to deal with. These are the types of things that we refer to. I don't know that I was acting as a bosom buddy with Andy. I was just nice to him. And I try to be nice to these people as best I can. Andy and I are the definition of two people who don't agree on everything, who don't get along on every issue. But I'm going to choose to remain friends because I want him to be present and accounted for in front of the people of the 5th Congressional District, which is the most important thing. It's not important that he comes on my show for me. It's important that he comes on my show for you. And I respect that too. And so I'll be respectful of him as the situation warrants, but I'll also be critical when the situation warrants that. That's the way I treat all of these folks. And I would say, have respect for individuals that understand that we might disagree on issues that still choose to come on the show. And Andy's one of those people. I'll give, Mark Green would never come on the show. I mean, Mark Green wouldn't come on any really local radio shows toward the end of his tenure, which was very odd. But that probably had a little more to do with things going on in his personal life than anything. One way or the other, I've never accused Andy. I would say that, final thought on this, I've never accused Andy of anything out and out illegal. Some of the campaign finance reporting that he had in 2022 was shady. You could call it shady. You could call it a huge error. One way or the other, it was bad. And there are a couple of other things that have gone on. I mean, Andy had his own issues with, I'm an economist, I'm not an economist, that sort of thing. And we've well covered those issues. But in the interest of transparency, in the interest of one big happy family, I wanted to make sure that I got these criticisms out there. But if y'all want to stir it up, that's cool. And he's got a Republican challenger coming up next year. So I expect we'll see more of him. And we'll see a lot of his challenger. I spoke to Charlie Hatcher via text message a couple of weeks ago. We're going to get him on in the beginning of the year once those races start cranking up. And he promised, by the way, Jackson, he promised to bring us chocolate milk at Charlie Hatcher. He promised to bring us some delicious chocolate milk for the entire team here on Super Talk. I mean, RJ, you're included. You can have some milk too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You can't hear it, but Jackson was cheering just now.
Have you had any Hatcher chocolate milk?
I have not. I
No.
haven't had any chocolate milk since I moved to Tennessee, actually.
I've not had any Hatcher chocolate milk, but every time I bring it up, people say that it's the finest chocolate milk you've ever put in your mouth. So that remains to be seen, my friend.
All right, I'm going to have to try it out for myself.
Ken Weaver, I've got to listen to your newscast a little bit closer, buddy. I do. I mean, I try to, but, we got a lot of things going on 2 rooms away.
Dude, there's a whole bunch going on.
So
today.
talk to me about the latest on this Garcia fella. So they've let him go?
Well, so to speak, he is no longer in ICE detention. This judge's order releases him from ICE detention, but there are a lot of restrictions around this order. So he still has to face trial for the human smuggling charges here in Tennessee, stemming from that that 2022 Highway Patrol traffic stop on I-40. So here are the restrictions. He has to live with his brother in Maryland. He's got to look for a job. He's got to stay within Tennessee or Maryland unless pretrial services approve travel. Now, the judge here in Tennessee who barred him from, the judge here in Tennessee in the human smuggling case barred him from contacting any co-defendants or, this is interesting, MS-13 gang members.
Oh, uh-huh.
And he's got to do drug testing ahead of his trial, which is January 26th.
Ken, I might be asking a question that we can't answer right now, but I'm going to ask it almost as a retort. Why aren't we just deporting him again? I'm confused.
According to this judge, there was no legal deportation order. Apparently, whenever he was deported to his home country of El Salvador and then returned, that apparently is the reason.
Okay.
So the Trump, she says the Trump administration brought him back and then tried to deport him to other countries other than his origin, and that's what she claims is not legal. And so the only thing that's really keeping him restricted is the human smuggling charges, it seems to me at this point.
So I wonder if we could, and I don't pretend to understand some of the subtle intricacies of what's going on here. I'm a simple man.
I am
right?
too.
So he came to the United States of America illegally.
Yes.
And when he had an order for deportation, he challenged that order of deportation back in 2019, and he won that challenge because they said, yeah, you've said that you were a part. So the way that happened, as I understand it, and Ken, tell me if I'm wrong, but he challenged his order of deportation by saying, if I go back to El Salvador, these gangs are going to kill me because I was a part of MS-13. And this other Barrio or whatever it was, they're in charge now, and these gangs are in charge, and they're going to kill me. And a judge said, yeah, you're probably right. They're going to kill you if you go back there, so you can stay here for now. So they denied the order of deportation in 2019.
Yes.
The Trump administration argument over the last couple of years is, well, since 2019, there's been a new president elected in El Salvador. He's cleaned up all of the gang activity. There's no longer a threat in El Salvador that would pose a threat to this individual, Abrego Garcia. So we need to rescind that hold and go ahead and deport the guy, which they tried to do, and a judge said that they did it prematurely without following the rule of law. Whatever.
Yeah, and then this judge says that it's apparently not legal to try to send him to other countries.
Why is that?
I don't know.
The judge in this case, is it that judge?
Zennis is her
Zennis?
name.
Yeah. She's just so full of crap. Her eyes are brown.
Costa Rica had apparently agreed to take him, and that's where he apparently said he wanted to go if he was going to be deported.
Well, why don't we drop the human smuggling charges against him and deport him?
Al, I don't know if that's what you can do now.
So instead of just getting rid, so a guy comes illegally, says, I'm a real bad guy, and the other bad guys that don't like my type of bad guys are going to hurt. The Democrats are bending over backwards to protect people like Abrego Garcia. In the meantime, they don't give a crap about our health care. And they don't, by the way. They had an opportunity to vote on trying to open up markets and open up our HSA accounts today, and they chose not to vote on that. I am regularly fascinated by all of this. What a joke this judge is. We'll try to get to the bottom of it for you. Get your calls on it, 615-737-9986. Bill is next up with a comment or a thought on Andy Ogles. Hey, Bill.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
I tried to call you because you were talking about this yesterday, but I found it really interesting that the letter that was reported sent from Judge Kyle Soule to Bill Lee asking for protection followed or had a quote that was reported on Channel 2's website. It says that Tennessee must not become the site of the next preventable tragedy. And again, that's the letter, apparently in the letter from the General Sessions Judge in Davidson County to the governor. Now, I'm kind of wondering, that could apply to both sides. But it's an appeal by the judge to the governor, and I think he's trying to protect themselves more so than the populace that they are allowing to be preyed on. What is y'all's thought on that? It's a one-sentence quote.
What is my thought about the judge being more concerned with the judge's personal safety above and beyond the safety of the general population of the city of Nashville?
Well, one could take that quote to mean that.
Right. I do, by the way.
Could take it for being the other way.
The judges by rule don't like to be questioned. They don't like to be second guessed. And they look at this as second guessing their decision making. Well, I would hope that these judges who let an individual go that eventually raped and killed a woman would be second guessing their own decision making practices. Sadly, they don't seem to be. I would love to see a population in Nashville wake up to the idea that these leftist, liberal, loosey-goosey, soft-on-crime judges are harming the general population, all manner of the general population. And I wish that the citizens of Nashville would do more about it to elect better public servants. So I can't speak to the motivations of the judge. I don't know the judge in this case. But I would tell you that generally speaking, judges think that their poop does not stink.
Well, I kind of go along with that.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they do have power, and some of it's almost unlimited unless they do something really crazy like the coach of Michigan,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is true. Judges have a tremendous amount of power, and they're answerable to virtually no one except violating the law in such a way where they can be impeached and removed from office or the power of the voter. Bill, thank you for the call. Appreciate it very much. 615-737-9986. We'll give you more on Abrego Garcia, the late-breaking news regarding his release from ICE custody. It's 19 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Great Spun Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. We were talking about this earlier. The better way of doing business in the healthcare industry is to let your doctor handle the medicine, to let your doctor handle your treatment, to offer you recommendations as to how best handle whatever you might have going on with your body, getting to the root of the problem, not just treating the symptoms of the problem. And then filing with your insurance company for reimbursement after the fact. That's the way that it ought to be, folks. It sadly is not that way for most medical practices any longer. But it is that way at Grace Point Healthcare. They believe in a direct pay format. They offer the Smart Care plan that can be paid through your HSA account that offers you an opportunity to have unlimited office visits throughout the course of the year for a simple monthly fee, $99 for grown-ups, $79 for the kids. Friends, Grace Point Healthcare treats the entire body with a comprehensive approach, and it's never cookie cutter. They're going to address your symptoms and your issues for you singularly, right? You can't afford exceptional medicine at your convenience. It's located right in Franklin, in the heart of Franklin, as a matter of fact. 599-6868, 599-6868. It's modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Contours LLC. Folks, I have done the red light therapy. I've done the red light technology, and it works. Man, oh, man, Keith and Stephanie and the rest of the team at Contours, they want to see you. What about this? I understand that it's the holiday season. I understand there's a lot of eating that goes on this time of year, but are you stuffed from Thanksgiving and you just want to get in front of it? You want to get an advanced opportunity to lose some of the weight that you've been trying to get off? Maybe it's those trouble spots, your gut, your love handles. Red light therapy at Contours LLC. I'm telling you, I've done it. I've had 4 sessions now, and I've lost inches off my torso. I lost 2.67 inches the first day that I did it. That is pretty cool, right? Non-invasive, painless, safe, effective, cost-effective, and ask about the Murph. The Murph is a special package running at Contours LLC right now, where you can receive treatments right now and then maintenance through January, February, and March at a 20% discount off of their usual prices. In fact, they'll let you come in and try the initial treatment for $99 for the first one and buy a package of treatments if you like it. I mean, come on. What have you got to lose but inches in advance of Christmas? And then you're well on your way by the time the new year rolls around. After all, it's time to get that weight loss down with Contours LLC. 615-236-9960. 236-9960. Call Contours today.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia no longer in immigration detention. We'll tell you what's next coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'll tell you, our good friend 24 after the hour, almost 25 past. Our good friend Michael Patrick Leahy over at the Tennessee Star has been on top of this story from the beginning. I'll tell you what, I believe that we're on top of local news. I believe that we're on top of these local stories, and I try to be as best as we possibly can. But no one has covered the Abrego Garcia story like the Tennessee Star, and I give kudos to those guys over there for the work that they've done. And he's on the line with us with the latest updates from his perspective. Hello, Michael Patrick Leahy. How are you, sir?
Matt, great to be with you on the show today. You do such a great job. So a couple things on this. The judge is an Obama-appointed judge here, Paula Zinnes, and she is biased, left-wing, and is in essence acting like another defense attorney. By the way, we estimate that so far the legal fees for his criminal defense and immigration defense for Kilmar Abrego Garcia exceed $10 million.
Good gracious.
Because he's got very, 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 very high-end attorneys. Now, as a point of fact, she's trying to basically invent new law with this decision. In 2019, an immigration judge issued a final order, which was indeed a final deportation order. It's right there in the memo. Kilmar Abrego Garcia conceded that he'd come into the country illegally and he was subject to removal. In that order, they denied his asylum request because you have to make that 1 year within the time you came in here. He came in 2012. He also, they had something called a withholding of removal, meaning it can't be sent to a certain country. There were two elements to that. One is a claim that it was a violation of the Convention Against Terrorism. That was denied by this judge. But he had another claim that said, well, withholding of removal to Guatemala, not El Salvador, because he was subject to persecution. In his testimony before this judge, Matt, he said, well, my family's moved to Guatemala. Therefore, since I'm part of that family, you can't deport me to Guatemala. The judge in his order used the analysis of Guatemala, not El Salvador. The final order simply said his request was for withholding of removal to one country was granted. Now, this judge has said, well, there's got to be a specific order that says he's deportable. Well, no, it's right in the opinion. If you read the opinion, he conceded he was deportable. So the judge is wrong on that account. She's also claiming that, well, once there's a final deportation order, you got to say what country you're going to. That's not true. That's not true at all. The withholding of removal just says you can't send them to one country, be it El Salvador or Guatemala. What is she trying to do here? This is a political move, Matt. She is trying to make it more difficult to deport any illegal aliens through all of this lawfare. This is political. Let me tell you what's going to happen. The Department of Justice is going to appeal this to the Fourth Circuit and ask for a stay. They will likely, the Department of Justice will likely win in the Fourth Circuit. If they don't, they'll appeal to the Supreme Court and they'll win there.
Yeah.
So the guy may temporarily be out of ICE custody. I'm not sure if that's happened yet. The order gave him a period of time. But even if that happens, ultimately, this guy will end up being deported. She's trying to create new law, basically.
Well, and for what purpose except to politicize the judicial process in a way that, you know, grants some sort of special circumstances for an individual that deserves none?
Exactly right, Matt. Exactly right. What the Democrats want to do is to stop the deportation of these 15, 20 million illegals.
Right. That's right.
What this is all about.
No, what they hate, it's not Abrego Garcia necessarily. They hate the fact that Donald Trump's following the law. They hate the fact that over the last year, you've seen, according to the Department of Homeland Security, some 600 forced deportations because of the criminal element moving through the system and getting their due process. And that is not to mention what they claim to be millions of unforced deportations, self-deportations, if you will. And the Democrats hate it because it goes against the master plan that they have to absorb these individuals into the fabric of our society and create voting blocks.
Yeah, you're exactly right. For your listeners who are concerned about this, I think ultimately this will turn out that the government is allowed to deport Kilmar Abrego Garcia. My guess is they'll probably deport him to Costa Rica ultimately.
Yeah. It feels like we're angling that way. Well, Michael, y'all do great work. I mean, you know how much I appreciate what you do at the Tennessee Star. It's one of my stops every morning as I'm doing research for the show. I think it should be a stop for everyone that's concerned about the news in Middle Tennessee. And I appreciate the hard work that y'all have done on the Abrego Garcia story.
Matt, thanks so much, and love listening to your show.
Thank you, brother. There's Michael Patrick Leahy joining us from the Tennessee Star for just a moment, clarifying some of this. I mean, it's just such a – I mean, and I think Michael Patrick, without comment, did a great job clarifying what is obviously a confusing situation. If the guy's here illegally, if there's no longer a threat in El Salvador, send him back. And if you can't send him back to El Salvador, send him to Costa Rica. Send him wherever. You ain't got to go home, but you can't stay here. It's 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Yeah, reports say Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been released from immigration detention following that federal judge's order in Maryland who says the Trump administration had no legal authority to keep holding him after he had been deported to his home country in El Salvador. But then the Trump administration brought him back on a technicality. Legal contributor Royal Oak says the Trump administration had tried to deport him to several countries.
The court noted Costa Rica's willingness to accept Abrego Garcia and criticized what she called the government's calculated effort to take that option off the table. The Trump administration said it was evaluating viable removal destinations.
Well, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, so he is out of ICE detention, but strict conditions apply. He's got to stay with his brother in Maryland, look for work. He cannot leave. If he comes to Tennessee, he's got to stay in the Middle District of Tennessee. If he stays in Maryland, he has to stay where he's at in Maryland unless pretrial services approve travel. So the Tennessee judge in the human smuggling case has barred him from contacting co-defendants or MS-13 gang members. They have ordered him to undergo drug testing ahead of his January 26th trial here in Nashville on those human smuggling charges. And for the first time, Tyler Robinson, the man charged with killing Charlie Kirk, sat in court today. He was slim, wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, often fidgeting with it. Moments before the hearing, Robinson seen smiling and chuckling with his lawyers at their table. Attorney Donna Rotuno told Fox News what that behavior might say about his legal strategy, whether he was coached by his attorney, Catherine Nestor, on how to conduct himself.
Now, maybe she had it, maybe she didn't. And, we also have to remember we've looked at him in a very small window here while he's in conversation with his lawyers. And I will not make any apologies for him. But what I will say is I think we have to give him a little bit more time to see how he comports himself rather than just the very small snippet we saw while he's in the middle of conversations.
So that hearing today deals with issues like updating the gag order, court security, also whether or not the media can have cameras in the courtroom during the trial. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, got a stalled vehicle in the center lane, 40 eastbound before Fessler's Lane. Then in the Gulch, you've got a crash. That's 40 eastbound just past Broadway. In Smyrna, stalled vehicle off on the left shoulder, 24 westbound at Sam Ridley Parkway. Then in Cheatham County, we've got milling and paving, and it is blocking the right lane, 40 eastbound just past exit 188. Creve Hall, we got a crash now, 65 northbound at Harding Place. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Okay, so I know a lot of people are frustrated about health care coverage right now. I know that you probably have more questions than you're getting answers, but I have a person that can give you some answers with no obligation to you. And I mean this sincerely, folks. I mean, obviously, Shane wants to help you. Shane wants to be there for you. Shane wants to be your concierge when it comes to health care insurance. He lives for that. But more importantly, he understands that there's some people that are confused and are frustrated, and they have no idea what's going to happen in 2026 when it rolls around and premiums go up and deductibles go up, and you don't know what kind of coverage you have. If you're confused, if you're frustrated, if you need answers, it's time to get them with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Cover Nash, they are your personal concierge when it comes to healthcare. They can cover all of the plans on the market. They're not bound by one company or another company. They can shop everywhere, and they can find the right plan for you. If you're self-employed, if you're uninsured, or you're simply tired of paying too much, it's time to call Shane at Cover Nash. Go visit him in Brentwood, 615-465-0023, 465-0023, or online at coverdash.com. Coverdash.com, real healthcare coverage managed by you, not by the government. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Show. Mike and Steven want to talk about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We shall do so before this hour is up. But right now, we have some business to attend to. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. He gathers headlines for a living, friends. That's why we pay him. He delivers them twice an hour and when news breaks. But occasionally, he finds himself an nincompoop. Hello, Mr. Weaver. Hey, wait. What are you doing over there, RJ? That wasn't the thing. I'm just saying hello. And RJ got itchy finger. Hello, Ken.
What's going on?
RJ got the itchy finger.
Yeah.
What's happening, Ken Weaver?
Look, premature audio ejection happens to all of us, RJ. There's no shame in it.
Especially these two because they're older.
Got a little itchy on the clickers, all.
A little itchy clicker finger. Look, there's Jackson Williams. So, Ken, I want to know how you would have reacted to something that just happened to me.
Okay.
So I told, since he's not really working today, I told Jackson he should come into the studio to do nincompoops because RJ's doing all the work today.
Right.
I am supervising and yelling from across the room.
Oh, my goodness. And
that's hard day's work.
For you, yes. You're doing a great job at that. But he looks at me, Ken, does Jackson, and he says, You think this hat looks good backwards on me? I think I'm a backwards hat guy.
I did not say it as feminine as Matt is.
Can I ask you, without fear of reprisal?
No, there's going to be reprisal.
How
I don't
would
even
you
know what that means.
How would you react to? You like this hat backwards on me? I think I'm a backwards hat kind of guy.
Stop making me sound like that.
I think it's a pretty good impersonation.
I think it's a horrible impersonation.
Okay. All right, Ken. He said this. You think this hat looks good on me? I'm a backwards hat kind of guy. Is that better?
I said, what do you think about backwards hats? I think I'm a backwards hat kind of guy. I never said, do you think this hat looks good on me? Because I know the answer is yes. Not as good as that crown that's in there, though.
That crown's pretty good, too.
I probably would have said, Brother Jackson, you look just fine.
Thank you, Brother Weaver.
All right. Jackson, I'd like to answer the question now.
You think my hat looks stupid?
I think you look just fine.
All right. It's time for Nincompoops in the News.
It's time for Nincompoops in the News. That's right. There you go, RJ.
Nincompoops in the news.
All right, you know what the news is. It's time to find these nincompoops. They live and work among us, friends. From across the state, across these United States, across the globe, we scour high and low, and we find these nincompoops where they live and breathe, and we bring them to you on a daily basis. We call it Nincompoops in the News. The official Nincompoops in the News trophy brought to you by the Wellness Institute of Nashville. That's a fine-looking trophy. It sits right over there in the studio. And it will be awarded. Jackson, you could win it for week number 2 here.
I won yesterday.
You won yesterday.
So I get to go first.
And I won a day before yesterday.
And Ken Weaver won the day. No, yes, you're right.
Weaver won Monday.
With Pastor
We didn't do.
Yeah.
Did we do one Tuesday?
Yeah, we did. You won with the aliens.
Yeah,
you won. So it's 1 and 1. It's 1 and 1.
Yeah.
And you're not here tomorrow.
I'm not. So if I win today,
but we have established, right, that if there's a tie in any given week, much like the Ryder Cup in golf, the individual that retains the trophy keeps the trophy in the event of a tie.
I was just going to tell everybody to vote for RJ tomorrow, and then I don't have to worry about it.
You're safe on it.
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. So you're saying you get to go first?
I do.
All right.
All right, we're going to Louisiana. This nincompoop is not Lane Kiffin, nor Brian Kelly, nor Ed Orgeron, although they've all been nincompoops in the past.
Go Tiger.
Go Tigers.
Go Tiger.
Naked driver arrested after wrong-way chase on I-49. A driver was arrested after a pursuit on Interstate 49 early Monday morning. The chase began after a DeSoto Parish Sheriff's Office deputy found a man parked in the median, according to the sheriff's office. Shortly after 3:30 a.m., a patrol sergeant saw a white sedan parked in the median while she was headed to a separate scene. She requested a nearby patrol unit to check on the driver. When a deputy arrived, he found Tracarlos Audra McNeil, 49, of Houston, Texas, sitting in the driver's seat. McNeil was naked, and authorities say he appeared to be under the influence of drugs or experiencing a mental episode. They spent several minutes trying to talk with him to get him out of the vehicle safely, the sheriff's captain said. The situation escalated when McNeil suddenly drove off in the vehicle. He headed northbound in the southbound lanes against the flow of traffic at upwards of 90 miles per hour. Radio traffic captured deputies reporting northbound in the southbound lanes. Dunn said with oncoming traffic about a mile ahead, deputies used a pit maneuver to stop the vehicle. Dashcam video shows the Nissan spinning into the barriers. McNeil refused repeated commands to get out of the car after the pit maneuver, continuing to dance and yell inside the vehicle. K9 Karen was deployed and successfully removed. That is the name of their canine dog.
Oh, that's sweet.
K9 Karen to the rescue as she was deployed and successfully removed McNeil from the vehicle.
Did the dog just yell and annoy people to death or what?
I think it's a German Shepherd that
German Shepherd telling you
goes and gets your manager.
That's exactly right. This food was cold and I need to see your manager.
I need this to be fixed.
I want a discount.
All right. Fortunately, Karen was not injured. Those dogs love
That's
doing their job. They train for getting people out of vehicles and buildings.
Have I ever told y'all about the time I had a canine dog in studio with me? Anyway, I'll do that.
Just try to pet it.
Following treatment, McNeil was booked into the DeSoto Detention Center. He faces charges of aggravated flight from an officer and resisting an officer. Dunn said McNeil could still face additional charges. For now, he is booked for aggravated flight and resisting an officer.
That's I'm going to be honest.
You, sir.
I'm going to be honest, Jackson.
What?
While that is a nincompoop, it's fair nincompoop.
Very fair.
It's weak for you, though. I think it's the hat. Hey, Ken, so
Yes, sir.
I invited this is when I was in Montgomery, Alabama. I invited an officer with a K-9 unit in with me, and they came in studio. We had to talk about it and all that. I've asked multiple police departments to do it since, and nobody else will do it because they're like, that's just fraught with danger because these dogs are not designed for that.
No, they're not lap dogs.
No, well, I was just fascinated talking about the training techniques that they go through and the partnership that develops between the K-9 and his fellow officer. And I'm like, and Rusty was this dog's name, Officer Rusty.
Yes, sir.
And Rusty didn't seem, he's just sitting there, his tongue hanging out. Rusty was all cool. And I'm like, Rusty doesn't look so dangerous, y'all. I mean, it just doesn't look that big of a deal. And there was his partner was a sergeant and there was a captain. And the captain said, here's what I want you to do, Murph. And I was like, okay. He goes, now just follow my instructions exactly. And I said, okay. He goes, I want you to stand up and I want you to take a swing at the sergeant.
That is a horrible idea.
And I'm like, okay. But there was a console, there was this, I had a board and a console and a little barrier between me and the two guests and Rusty.
Yeah.
They were on the other side of all that stuff, right? And he goes, stand on that side. He said, don't come on this side.
Right. Yeah.
And he said, stand on that side. He said, but just stand up and maybe say something and swing at Rusty or swing at Sergeant. And I did. And in the blink of an eyelash, in a nanosecond, the dog not only was on, he jumped onto the console and was in my face. I'm talking about in my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I just peed my pants a little bit. And
we're going to
right,
get a break.
I'm gonna go ahead and apologize.
So he got up like that. Then he was just waiting for the next command.
Yeah, that's right. He knew not to do anything until Sergeant told him.
Right.
But he was going to protect his partner.
Is this how you train Mrs. Weasley?
Mrs. Beasley. And no, she is a...
What about Munson?
She is a... Oh, you said it correct.
Man.
You said it right.
Little Munson and Mrs. Beasley.
Oh, Munson.
I meant to say Munford.
They're excited about their new house. They don't know about it yet.
Yeah, they haven't figured it out
They
there.
haven't figured it out.
You don't have to train Mrs. Beasley.
No.
She's already got that side
another
eye
dog?
going.
No, Mrs. Beasley is doing the training, Ken.
Yes, sir.
What about Mrs. Weasley?
Mrs. does not exist.
Have you not read the Harry Potter books?
We will get a third dog.
Yes.
I thought that's what you called me.
No, you're like the child I never wanted. You're like for a while there in my life, I was worried that I was going to get a knock on the door. Hey, remember that time in college? I'm the result. You were my greatest fear.
That's going to be
Jackson.
Brother Jackson.
Did you live in Bristol, Connecticut 25 years ago?
Crap, I did.
Oh, no.
All right, lawmaker in Australia was left in utter, that's a pun, utter disbelief when, after eating out with his partner, he checked the pet cam feed on his telephone, only to discover a disturbing image from his home. In his living room, Andrew McKay, a Northern Territory politician, he posted the incriminating evidence online from his security camera on his Facebook page over the weekend, noting that his life in his rural home may never be the same again. The video shows his two pet dogs, a mutt named Thunder in the lead, nuzzling open a sliding door to allow two entities inside of his home. The dogs intentionally allowed a steer and a horse inside of his house. Before the video shows the opening of the door and a steer, castrated bull, named Sue, That's a bull named Sue, I suppose. Gingerly wandering into the home. It was followed by a pet horse, Cricket. Cricket then went over to the couch and gave it a good sniff. At the end of the video, McKay can be seen standing in the doorway, surveying the damage as one of his dogs nuzzles him. So the two dogs felt bad for this cow and this horse. There's photographic evidence of this. And so the dogs opened the door to intentionally allow the farmyard animals inside of the man's home. Over the next hour and a half, they took turns playing, knocking things off cabinets. The horse found a bowl of vegetable scraps and ate it. So the horse just made himself a little snack. The fish tank, they drank from, both animals drank from his fish tank. Oh, look, he left us some snacks and soda.
Did he lose any fish?
It said, I don't know how many fish I had. Oh, he says, actually, I don't know how many fish I had before, but I assume they're all still alive. But they did drop the water by a considerable amount. They spent about an hour and a half in his home. Soon, the steer scratched his neck on the door, accidentally opened it all the way, and eventually they were escorted outside when the man returned home.
Did they use the restroom in there?
I'm guessing that they did, Jackson. Oh. I would be willing to guess, and that's rough.
Got a horse poopy house.
That's pretty rough. You ever seen a cow drop one up close?
Yes.
It's not pleasant.
No, it's not.
It's not pleasant.
I thought it was a horse.
Well, it was a bull and a horse.
Oh.
It was a steer. You know what a steer is. I just said.
A bull.
Well, it's a castrated bull. They snip them.
Tough day.
Early on. See, if we were to snip you, we'd get you under control.
No,
Yeah,
that's just not.
That's how you do that.
Matt, that's a cult.
Yeah, you get some nice sneakers and a trip to the Hale Bob Comet. Hey, Ken.
Yes, sir.
What about that nincompoop?
All right, boys, this comes out of Chattanooga. Television station down there. They broadcast when restaurants are cited for failed inspections.
Health inspection violations.
Here's the Buffet King in Chattanooga.
Oh, not the Buffet King.
Yeah. Employees were seen washing their hands with their gloves still on.
Uh-oh.
Hot and cold foods being held at the wrong temperatures, and inspectors found a box of food being held on the floor of the walk-in freezer where they also found rusted shelves. The 100 Hibachi and Sushi in Chattanooga. Health inspector says a person in charge barehanded rice to check the temperature, resulting in 1 pound being thrown out.
I'm still not seeing an absolute, something that's really going to discourage
like
me.
a deal breaker. You
Yeah,
haven't seen a deal breaker
seen a
yet.
deal breaker yet.
Okay.
What if the guy goes to the bathroom and doesn't wash his hands?
What kind of food is he making?
Rice.
I just won't eat the rice. I'm sure it's like $8 for all you can eat. We've all been there in college. Let's not pretend like we're above this. Let's not pretend.
I don't think
let's stop the charade that we're all too big or we're all too, that we haven't at one point.
Wait a minute, are you saying Weaver's the nincompoop?
I don't know who's the nincompoop, but I know we've all been to one of these Chinese buffets that is just a little sketchy.
Well, you haven't heard the latest about 100 Hibachi and Sushi.
Yeah, let's go.
So, in addition to the barehanded rice check, raw chicken was found over open soy sauce containers, dripping.
Okay, well, salmonella is my deal breaker, so okay, yeah, you win, Ken.
Death.
Yeah, if I'm gonna, it's $8, but
here's the winner, boys. Fuji Steak 7 Sushi in Hickson.
Mm-hmm.
The inspector says German cockroaches were floating in dirty dishes.
Ooh, Alvita said.
How'd they know they were little German cockroaches?
I don't know.
They have little... Never mind.
Don't tell that.
Had little armbands on.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, that looks like a German cockroach.
Yeah.
They were also found dead on a lower shelf. And these employees were washing their hands with their gloves still on. Ich bin ein Berliner. Oh, and cleaning rags were found without a sanitizer bucket, and a rice spatula was stored in standing water. Oh, in the woman's bathroom, didn't have a covered trash.
I could go for some Chinese buffet right now. Couldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Love some egg drop soup.
It's the cheaper it gets, the better it is.
Now, one more.
Uh-huh.
This is a waste.
Okay.
The Burrito Express in Cleveland. 60 pounds of queso were thrown out because of improper heating and cooling techniques. 60 pounds.
That's a lot of cheese.
That's a lot of cheese.
That is.
Because, it takes a lot of cheese to make queso dip.
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
And that's 60 pounds of queso dip, correct, Ken?
Yes.
That's a whole lot of cheese.
That's a bunch of cheese.
Bunch of cheese.
Mm.
Whew, I love that queso, man. I need a whole bunch of it.
Yeah, me too. But not from the Burrito Express.
Yeah, the Burrito Express.
Yeah, you gotta love these health inspections, man. Some of them are they're wild. I mean, how the hell do you get to a 54? I used to run a restaurant.
That's right.
Got no clue how you get that low. I mean, my goodness gracious. It's not that hard. Keep food off the floor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't do it.
Don't drop a waffle.
Don't drop the waffle. That's exactly right. That's how we play it. That's how we do it. Nincompoops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WT. And you can vote for Ken Weaver.
I don't know
You
why
can
I'm
vote for.
clapping.
Well, we're getting ready for that. RJ's getting the music going. Yeah, I gave you the old. There we go. There we go. I don't have it. RJ's got it going on. You can vote for Ken Weaver. You can vote for Matt Murphy. For the love, don't vote for Jackson.
Vote for me!
If you vote for Jackson, he retains the trophy, and then he's going to take it with him to Gatlinburg and do God knows what with it.
He's going to show it to Dolly.
Yeah, I'm going to say Dolly.
If you see Dolly Parton before I see Dolly Parton, this relationship's over.
I'm fine with that.
He's going to ride the eagle with Dolly Parton and the trophy.
I don't like you anymore. That's Nick Poops in the news. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I got to tell you, friends, by now you know that I'm in the process of buying a house. Very excited about that. Very excited to experience the Accurate Mortgage Advantage in person. Folks, if you're thinking of buying, if you're moving, if you want to take advantage of some of the lowered house prices around, or if you're thinking of refinancing, might I tell you that Accurate Mortgage is as advertised. These folks are great. They keep me informed. They do everything for me. I mean, I don't understand all of the intricacies of a mortgage, but they do, and they keep you informed. And unlike the big online lenders, Accurate Mortgage, you're not just a number. You're a name. You're a person in their community. They see you at the ball game. They see you at the grocery store. Now, listen up. Even though rates may be a little bit higher than your current mortgage, a cash-out refi could be able to save you a lot of money every month on getting rid of those higher interest rates. And it's going down. You heard about this interest rate drop just earlier this week. So if you're looking to purchase a home, like I am, do a cash-out refi to renovate your current home or pay off high-interest credit card debt, let the loan advisors at Accurate Mortgage help you out. Visit Accurate Mortgage today at AccurateMTG.com. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you. Tell them Matt Murphy is so satisfied with Mike and Labrina and the rest of the team at Accurate Mortgage. They're so good at what they do. Accurate Mortgage, NMLS 129944. Rates and terms subject to change. Equal housing lender. When USS comes to your home, you're getting a problem solver at your home, and they can solve big-time problems that could cost you a lot of money if you don't hit them on the front end. Let's talk about it, friends. Hey, it's Matt Murphy for USS, United Structural Systems. At USS, homeowners trust them. Why? Because since 1994, they've been keeping homes like yours stable and dry. Now, we live in Middle Tennessee, and y'all know the topography is kind of crazy. Up and down in the hills and valleys, they create a lot of moisture, a lot of water moving from here to there. That can cause waterproofing issues inside of your home. Do you have an issue? Have you noticed a musty or moldy smell in your basement or crawl space? Have you noticed that you've seen the telltale signs like a crack in the mortar joints or perhaps a sinking of steps on your home? These are signs that need to be addressed with USS. Call today at 615-488-7855, 488-7855. USS, serving Middle Tennessee and guaranteeing their best. Online at USSTN.com.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been released from immigration detention following federal judge Paula Zinnes' order today. He had been living in Maryland when he was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. He was then returned to the U.S. to face human smuggling charges. ABC News legal contributor Royal Oakes with more.
The federal judge found Abrego Garcia had been re-detained without lawful authority, saying the government had no legal basis to remove him to a third country. The court's order pointed to shifting plans to send him to multiple countries.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia out of ICE detention, but under strict conditions. He must live with his brother in Maryland. He's got to look for a job. He has to stay within Tennessee and Maryland unless pretrial services approve travel. The Tennessee judge in the human smuggling charges against Abrego Garcia has barred him from contacting co-defendants or MS-13 gang members and ordered drug testing ahead of his January 26th trial here in Nashville. The man accused of murdering Charlie Kirk was in court in person for the first time today. Tyler Robinson appearing thin. He was wearing a light blue dress shirt and tie, at times seen adjusting that tie. And then before court started, he was chatting, smiling and chuckling with his attorneys. Fox News contributor, criminal defense attorney Donna Rotuno was asked about his demeanor and whether his attorney, Catherine Nestor, told him to avoid showing emotion or not.
It is also Miss Nestor's job to make sure that she keeps him not only appropriate, but calm and, engaged. And so there's a lot of conversations you have with the client. You saw her put her hand on his arm twice. I mean, her job is to try to humanize a person that the world is looking at as a monster. And so she's in a tough position. And I think that, we will see him be respectful to the court. We'll see how he comports himself moving forward.
So the hearing today was to tackle issues like the gag order, court security, and whether or not media can have cameras in the courtroom during the trial. Harold Wayne Nichols, executed by lethal injection this morning at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville for the 1988 rape and murder of Chattanooga College student Karen Pulley. Death penalty opponent spoke afterward.
Yes, there were horrible crimes, families affected, and young 20-year-old lives taken. But killing to teach people not to kill just doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, the victim's sister, Lizette Monroe, called the decades-long wait for justice 37 years of hell, hoping the execution allows her to focus on her sister's life rather than her death. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, I'm looking at least 3, 4, maybe 5 crashes right now on I-40. Let's run down the list. Got one near the airport, eastbound at Briley Parkway, eastbound at Fessler's Lane. Then look for eastbound at I-440. Then we've got milling and paving blocking the right lane, 40 eastbound past Kingston Springs, Ashland City, exit 188. We've got a listener who says there is a collision on 40 eastbound right before 109 in Wilson County. All right, where are the other issues? Looking over here at 65 northbound. We got a crash at Harding Place. Also 65 southbound just past I-440. And then in Madison, a crash, 65 southbound at the Due West Avenue overpass. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy and the Matt Murphy Show continues in the 6 o'clock hour. Happy to have you with us this Thursday, December 11th edition. Thank you for being around. Obviously, we're covering a number of subjects for you. As Ken Weaver's been informing you in the News Closet B, the Abrego Garcia has gotten out. I'm going to go to a call who's been holding for a long time before I introduce my next guest with his permission, because I appreciate my next guest. And we got an hour-long discussion about some local issues going on in our community. But this is really a local issue in our community because Abrego Garcia was here for many months. He was released, returned to Maryland. He was detained by Immigration and Customs Enforcement. And now this activist judge in that area has ordered his release, and he won't be out for long, I can promise you that. Stephen, what are your thoughts on all of this?
Hey, Matt. Hey,
Stephen.
I just want to put my 2 cents in on this. I think, we're seeing Trump derangement syndrome with these judges that are basically trying to beat Trump. Is they're using this guy as a pawn to try to beat Trump. And in a nutshell, that's what it is. I mean, as well as I do, when he came out, the first time he came out, if you remember back when he was campaigning for president the first time, those 5 famous words that he came out and said, and he said, "We're gonna build a wall," and the crowd erupted because that's what everybody was thinking, and Trump was the one that came out and said it. That is what started Trump derangement syndrome for the rest of the half of the country that was against that, and then we saw the border blitzers after that, and I think Kilmar was here before all that, but still, what's his excuse is the only thing I can find is he came here in 2011 because he was scared for his life from rival gangs. Well, okay, has anybody ever found out who the rival gang was and what was it all about?
I thought it was Barrio 19 or whatever it's called. It was MS-13 and Barrio 19. Okay. I think it was Barrio that was the gang.
Okay, well, here's another thing. Now that his name is out there and he's on the news and he's a famous celebrity now, what does that do for the guy? If he came here to another country because he was so scared for his life in El Salvador, why is he being part of this show? I mean, it just don't make sense. It's Trump derangement syndrome.
He did not declare asylum when he first came here. So a couple of things. When he first got here, he just came into the country illegally. He crossed the border illegally, and he got here. And he stayed here until he got caught. When he got caught and there was an order, when he got caught, he never claimed asylum. When he got caught, there was an order of deportation. And they protested in 2019 the order of deportation based on his claim that he was a part of a gang. And if he went back, the rival gang would kill him. That's what he claimed.
and he was in fear for his life.
Right.
Which is
So,
which
and
is
some
what
activists-
almost every.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you, Stephen. Oh, Stephen hung up. Stephen, I didn't hang up on you, so I'm sorry. What I was saying is what almost every, and Stephen, I tried to pause to let you finish your thought there. If I came from Guatemala or El Salvador or wherever, and I decided to break the law, and let's say that I consider it a victimless crime. Now, it's not a crime without a victim because it costs the United States of America a lot of money, a lot of resources, but I consider it a victimless crime. And I've long said that I don't fault a lot of these people that come over here. There, but for the grace of God go I. If I was born in some of these third world situations, you're damn right I'd come to the blessings of the United States of America if I am able. It is incumbent upon us to create border walls and to create an orderly process by which we can make sure that individuals that are coming into this country, A, are a benefit to the United States of America, and B, are not a potential harm to the United States of America. That said, he comes here and then he gets caught and he's about to be deported back to El Salvador. Well, he's going to say anything and everything he can to prevent that from happening. So he starts talking about gang activity. Well, he admitted that he was a gang member. So, I mean, yes, he's obviously become a symbol for the liberal Democrats, and he's an odd symbol to say the least. He will eventually be deported, and we will forget who he is. We will forget the American people by a long shot approve of and appreciate border security and approve of and appreciate immigration enforcement. It's one of the best things that Donald Trump has done in his first 11 months in office. Okay, let's move on from that and talk about a local issue that is of great importance to me and should be of great importance to you. When I first became aware of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, I was told very quickly that I needed to talk to what I would consider the grandfather of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway, or maybe even the great-grandfather of the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway.
I'm not that old.
The great-uncle of the Norm Parton is with us today. Everybody knows Norm, and we love him. He has made regular appearances on 99.7 since I was a wee lad. You used to do a radio show around these parts.
I was with WTN when they were a bankrupt station.
Well, I mean,
when they first came on the air, I was there.
And you pulled them out of bankruptcy and to financial solvency.
Single-handedly.
Single-handedly.
With one hand tied behind my back.
How's it going, my friend?
It's going well.
Yeah?
It's going well.
You busy?
Winter's here. Yeah. I have a 15-minute drive to get here that took an hour. I can tell you it's official. Nashville traffic sucks.
Yeah.
It's official.
I know.
Yeah.
It's all those Yankees.
Yeah. We need to close our border maybe.
There's a lot of people that want to do that.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Well, I mean, this is the type of relationship that Norm and I have. Because, you do a lot of, you throw a lot of great parties, you do a lot of events, you do a lot of different types of things. And I said to him when he came in, I was like, what? You didn't bring us In-N-Out Burger? You didn't bring us any beer? And he said, well, I don't know about In-N-Out Burger, but I got beer in the truck. I'm like, all right, let's go.
And it's on ice.
It's on ice, too.
I'm like a Boy Scout. I'm prepared.
I love it. And with the right items.
Yeah.
I have become increasingly, and you are such a positive man, and every time I'm around you, I'm laughing, I'm having a good time, and you're always with a smile on your face.
Well, I don't know about that.
But I'm becoming increasingly pessimistic about the Fairgrounds Speedway.
Well, I'm the opposite. I'm very optimistic.
Well, talk to me.
Very optimistic.
Help me, disabuse me of my pessimism.
Well, there is a deal on the table that is in front of the mayor that is to restore the racetrack, reinvent the grandstand area, and make this a showplace that generates revenue for the city. Current situation with the fairgrounds, it's bleeding from an artery by the city it's in disrepair. It's been ignored, and I was thinking on the way down here that the first mayor that I went to about this was Richard Fulton. who you've probably never heard of.
Never heard of him.
I've been through Bredesen. I've been through them all, and a lot of promises, a lot of blue sky that never comes to fruition. And when basically Bristol comes to town, they have the cure. They have the ability to remove the political football that this is. People have lost council seats over this issue, and they just continue to kick the can down the road, and it's time to do it. There is opposition out there that is a political move paid for, and to try to stop this from happening. And Nashville and the racing community needs to stand up and say, we're not going to take this anymore.
So there's a lot to unpack in the statement that you just made. I have recently been made aware of this, and I have invited this fellow Mike Kopp on the show.
Yeah.
COP.
I'd love for him to sit right here.
I would too.
Right now. Okay.
I would too. I offered an invitation to him 2 days ago. I re-upped the invitation yesterday. I will continue to re-up the invitation on a daily basis until I get at least a response.
Yeah.
Because he is apparently a part of, and they never say that he's the head of it, or it is.
Oh, he's paid by Ingram.
Well, but he claimed, no question.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, this is an AstroTurf organization that wants to claim to be grassroots. They're intentionally being obtuse. They're intentionally trying to confuse people. So he is the face, I guess, of an organization called Restore Our Fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Which is a lie on it. I mean, so if their purpose is to remove racing from the fairgrounds, which it is, then the name of the organization is a lie. Because you can't restore the fairgrounds and remove racing because the fairgrounds has always had racing.
Yeah. Well, so their objective is to go into the community of people that don't care. There are people that live in the city don't even know it's there.
Right.
There are people that live near the fairgrounds that doesn't know there's racing going on there. It has been. So, and I can document that. So what this boils down to is they're trying to put, we want to do housing. We want to do green space. Nashville has green space. Nashville has affordable housing until the property tax went up. Now nothing's affordable. So it's a false pretense that they are doing this to remove racing so they can capture that property for greed.
Here's what I suggest is happening. Yeah. And I don't have any insider knowledge. I just have the knowledge. I just have the brain that God gave me and a basic understanding of the players of all of this.
Right.
But I do know a few things. I know I've been told by multiple sources that John Ingram is holding $2 million for affordable housing against this situation.
Correct.
He is holding that in his hand saying, I have $2 million for you for affordable housing.
Yeah.
Here's what's about to happen. They're going to claim that they want to take over that part of the fairgrounds for affordable housing. And then if they get their way and kill the track, then Ingram's going to swoop in and they're going to do a swap.
Yep.
And he's going to give them money for the property.
To do somewhere else for affordable housing so he can have a parking lot.
So he can have a parking lot is what they're going to do. And they're going to say, well, it is for affordable and they're going to play cute with it and say, well, this is really for affordable housing. It's just, it accomplishes the same thing. He knows what he's doing all along. He has no interest in putting affordable housing next to Geodis Park. Not one bit.
Right.
But they're claiming that to try to get people on board who sadly fall for this ruse.
Yeah. So there's more. I mean, there's a surface and then there's deep.
Right.
And you can take one point like what you just made. They were to do affordable housing in the condos that they built right next to the racetrack. So ask them how that's
how affordable is it?
Well, how that worked out for them. And that was in the plan. That they went through, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Also in the plan was, and it's on tape, it's on YouTube right now, John Ingram saying, I'm for racing. I want to be a good neighbor. And I'll describe a good neighbor. He got 10 free acres that is worth millions of dollars that subsidizes soccer.
Right.
End of statement.
Right.
All right. He wants more. He wants to be a good neighbor, yet there's no more state fair at the fairgrounds because he took the property. The 10 acres was vital to having a fair. He has damaged the flea market by taking up parking place. And now it's premium parking, and you got to pay.
Right.
So let's be a good neighbor and undo all of that. And the next phase of his development is going to further pinch the Nashville County Fair that is in existence and did real well in this last year. And so let's be a good neighbor. He can't be a good neighbor and even be there. So when Megan Barry made that happen, Mayor Megan Barry, I don't know this. There's things that I know and there's things that I think I know. I would bet that beer in my truck that she guaranteed him she was going to close that racetrack for his benefit. I would bet the moon on that. Now, I can't prove it, and I can tell you that was not his choice of a place to build the soccer stadium, but she insisted. I can't prove that, but I know it. So when you look at this,
I can't prove that this is all being slow walked because Ingram is demanding that it's being slow walked, but it's being slow walked for a reason because and I want to talk about this for a minute. I want to talk about being a good neighbor.
Yeah.
And what Bristol, in their attempt to be a good neighbor, has offered the city and the amount of money that the city will be off the hook and what they've offered to do for Ingram. Because I feel like they are desperate to try to come up with an arrangement. And sadly, what they are hoping is that there's an honest actor on the other side of the negotiating table. And I don't believe that's the case. I don't believe that the people they're talking to are being honest with them.
Well, they don't know because they've never met. They refuse to meet.
24 after the hour. Hold your thought there. Norm Parton is with us. 24 after the hour. We're talking Nashville politics and the Fairground Speedway, the future of the Fairground Speedway. I'm telling you, folks, once it's gone, it's gone, and it'll never come back. We need to protect the things that are uniquely Nashville, and this is one of them. It's 24 after the hour on Super Talk. Hi, friend. Hey, friends, if you're a business owner, might I recommend you make the call to Alpha and Omega before the end of the year? Because if you have an IT contract coming up, you need Alpha and Omega on your team. Frankly, if you're not doing it with Alpha and Omega, you're doing it wrong. If you don't have an IT contract, imagine this. Think about the amount of time that you spend dealing with your computers, the amount of time that you spend dealing with servers or Wi-Fi, or the amount of time that you deal with cybersecurity, the amount of time that you're handling printer issues or email issues. All of that time should be spent handling your business, and let the experts at Alpha and Omega handle the rest. Michael and his team have been doing this a long time. They've seen a lot of changes, and they're ready for the next challenge at Alpha and Omega. So whether it's cybersecurity, ransomware, whatever it might be, they will protect you at Alpha and Omega and make your computer systems run flawlessly in 2025. Give them a call at 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at Alpha and Omega's website, ANO.net, A&O.net. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just a moment or two. Norm's going to stick around for the next segment as well. And I know we talk about this issue a lot. I talk about it a lot. I want to focus on it. I want to spearhead it if possible. And that I was saying the other day, Norm, that, you know what? I know that you speak on this issue a lot. You don't necessarily want to be the face of the issue. You've become the face of the issue, whether you like it or not.
Oh, you would be surprised. There's people that really dislike me over this.
Well, I mean, you know, I can understand disliking you for a lot of things, but no, in all seriousness, I'm ready to take it up and do anything. I don't pretend that I have a lot of power, but anything we can do, and it doesn't have anything to do with NASCAR. Yeah. It doesn't have anything to do with auto racing. It has to do with communities that lose their fabric. And if you go to Birmingham, Alabama, or to Charlotte, North Carolina, or to Atlanta, Georgia, or to Orlando, whatever city, every city has certain things that are unique to that city. And if you lose them, you lose them.
That's correct.
And the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway is one of those things.
Well, the fairgrounds as a whole is one of those things.
Correct.
It's interesting because the neighborhood people are claiming, and it's false claims. Let me give you an example. They complain about the noise, yet they just build condos 30 feet away from the racetrack. So if you're living over on Martin Street.
Literally 30 feet.
30 feet. 30 feet. And I've marked it off with my feet, across the thing. They lose that argument. And the development in that area has been phenomenal. And so here's a challenge for anybody out there, including Mr. Cop. 2 summers ago, I spent every weekend to where the weather was nice, driving in the neighborhood, getting out of my car and walking. And I would stop and talk to people who were walking their dog, jogging, whatever. And I say, what about the fairgrounds? I recorded a ton of them on my cell phone. They don't care. There are people that live on Wedgwood and say, we can't hear it because of the traffic on Wedgwood. So the neighborhood complaints are false. Browns Creek, the speedway affects about 100 feet of a creek that is miles long.
I heard that the other day. Now this cop fella is saying that the speedway negatively impacts the environment through Browns Creek, which is dumb. Hold your thought. We've got to pay some bills. It's 32 after the hour. Norm's with us. We'll continue taking your calls on this subject and get the lowdown on it. Norm's more knowledgeable about it than anyone that I know of. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, friends. Matt Murphy for Men of Valor. What a wonderful organization. I love talking about them. I love what they do for our community. We were at Valor Ridge, I guess a couple of weeks ago, and got to meet a lot of the graduates of the Men of Valor program that went through Valor Ridge, that came out of the prison system, went in as just criminals, right? Takers in their community. They came out through the discipleship, through class study, through Bible study within the prison system with Men of Valor, came out as givers and went through the structured program at Valor Ridge to make sure that they did not slide back into the life that they knew. And these are now good and productive members of our society. And it takes job partners, it takes people like you, it takes volunteers, and it takes donations to make all of this happen. And you save money on the back end, folks, because when you lower the recidivism rate from over 70% to under 15%, which is what the graduation rate at Men of Valor does, then you're literally lowering the number of people in prison. And by extension, you're paying less of your tax dollars into the prison system to keep those men incarcerated. What about it? MOVministry.com to find out more. Volunteer if you can. Donate if you will to Men of Valor. Super Talk 99.7 WT. In a few more moments with our friend Norm Parton. Norm is an advocate for the renovation, the restoration and renovation. Is that the way to say it, Norm? Restoration of Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. And as another thing that these dishonest people were doing, they're running around saying that they want to expand
Nope.
the Speedway. There's no expansion.
Nope. It's the track will be exactly the same size.
Mm-hmm.
The footprint,
It'll be nicer.
It'll be much nicer. And let's talk about being a good neighbor. So they're going to come in. You've been to the infield.
Uh-huh.
You know it's up and down, and they're going to level the whole infield, which allows for like triple the parking that is available at the racetrack for soccer games, concerts, flea market. They're going to build a pedestrian tunnel under turns 3 and 4 that will allow you to park in the speedway and walk a tunnel under the speedway and come out right at the expo center. So if you're a flea market person,
I am.
You now can park and not have a hill to climb.
Yeah.
No hill to climb.
That's nice.
Okay. So, and as we all know, the topography of the fairgrounds is up and down.
Yeah.
So that's being a good neighbor.
So I want to hit a couple of bullet points real quick because I don't want to lose sight of some of this, and then I want to talk about some of the local impact.
Yeah.
The Bristol Motor Speedway plan would restore and renovate the track. Would it cost the taxpayers any money?
$0.
Would it save the taxpayers money? Because right now, aren't they sinking a lot of money into keeping
millions?
So it would ultimately, in my opinion, save the track money.
They remove the loss that the taxpayers are paying now. They then put money in the coffers for the taxpayers. So money will go into the general fund because of what they're paying back in the ticket tax and that sort of thing. But the underlying thing is remove the loss, add a profit, plus there's no future investment by taxpayers. We went through the thing with the Titans. We went through the thing with Bridgestone where we got to do this improvement, and the taxpayers were on the hook for it. The deal that Bristol is bringing to the table funds that annually to where there's a pool of money to take care of any improvements or anything that has to be changed or upgrades. So not only are we removing the taxpayer loss, we are ensuring no future loss, plus the revenue coming to the city. How do you go against that?
I don't understand how you do.
If you live in Bellevue, Antioch, it is a benefit to you.
Let me go through a few of the myths. It's going to be louder.
Nope.
As a matter of fact, as my understanding, it's going to be considerably quieter.
The scientific study by people that actually did the Nissan Stadium study, they are known all over the country for doing sound studies, say 50%.
So you'll see 50% better noise abatement from the new
50% less noise because now and I think we're on camera. You see this behind us here.
Right.
This absorbs sound.
Correct.
If this was a solid piece of steel, sound bounces off of it. All right. Absorbing this removes the sound on the other side.
Correct.
And even if it reduces it 40%, even if it reduces it 60%, 50%, that's a big number. And the people, and they'll say, well, I don't believe it. Well, it are credible people that have done this. Believe the science. You remember that?
Well, right. And so so that takes care of the objection. That, and I don't believe it's a real objection. I don't think the people around the tribe, I mean, they knew where they were moving anyway, but they like to claim, it's going to get louder. It's not going to get louder. It's my understanding it would add one race weekend a year?
No. Same number.
Okay, so same number of races. Okay.
Same number.
All right, so it's not even adding any races that are currently there. So really, we're dealing with either a no-brainer issue for those of us who value the history of the track, value the history of the fairgrounds, value what the
user,
and value the money that comes in. I'm going to get to the user in a second. Or you want to give John Ingram his parking lot.
Yeah. I mean, that's me talking. I don't speak for anybody but myself. I want to make that clear. I'm not paid by anybody. I'm not reimbursed by anybody. I'm doing this because what's this? I'm Norman. I approve this message. This is my ground. And I'm going to fight for it to the last breath. I'm going to die on the hill. They are not going to take our racetrack away. Look at me. They are not going to take our racetrack away.
Well, they're going to try.
Yeah, let them come on. So, and get Mr. Kopp to come in. Let's have a reasonable, civil conversation.
I would love to have Mr. Kopp on the show. He has been invited. Let's see if he accepts the invitation. He claims that John Ingram has no part in his advocacy. I don't believe him, but we could talk. He could make his case on that front.
Ask him if he's ever been paid by Ingram for anything over his career, because this is a political guy. He don't do things for fun. He does them for profit.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
So what's Sam's last name? You introduced me to the young driver, Sam. He's driving the quarter midgets out there.
Oh yeah.
Mozzie,
somebody
on the Super Text line will tell me.
Yeah.
But I met the family. I went out to their house. So we had a mutual connection, and I ended up at a barbecue.
Yeah.
It was a fish fry, actually. And I'm like, holy moly, I met Sam. And so it was kind of a cool connection.
Yeah.
But we met Sam out there, and the family atmosphere at the track, the local racing at the track. Listen, I know some of y'all listening, maybe many of y'all listening don't really care, but know this. If you want a family-friendly event where families come together and grandmas and grandpas and fathers and sons, I mean, they are together. They're enjoying their time together. They're actually communicating. They don't have their heads in the phone and all of that sort of thing. Go to one of these races. Go walk through the pits. Look at some of the wonderful people that are out there. All of that goes away if we don't fight for it.
Well, and people that in Nashville market, which I'm counting Middle Tennessee, there's probably $50 million of investment in racing equipment that is directed towards that racetrack. There are 4 parts dealers in this area that do nothing but racing stuff. So local racers have a huge investment. The Bandolero drivers are kids. They're 6, 7, 8 years old. And you're taking away the only opportunity they have. How many soccer fields are there? How many baseball fields are there? How many pickleball opportunities are there? There's only one racetrack, and these people have invested millions of dollars in this, and they're trying to take it away from them. We're just not going to let it happen. And if you're out there listening and you're a racer, it's coming to you. You've got to step up and join this fight.
Is it true that I know that Dale Jr. he's in it. He's invested in it. He's talked about it. He is invested in saving some of these older tracks. And,
right.
And understand
North
this.
Wilkesboro. Yep.
North Wilkesboro is one of them. Nashville's one of them.
Yep.
They want to race. I mean, and, for NASCAR lovers, for auto racing lovers like us, I mean, it's a big deal if NASCAR were to come back to downtown because it would be unlike anything we've seen. I mean, I understand we've got the track out in Lebanon. I'm not against it. I love it.
Yeah.
But this is a different deal. This is like, that the racing they're doing in downtown Chicago, right?
Yep.
I mean, that's the atmosphere in the field. And 2489 claims that Junior said that if Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway accepted NASCAR, that he would get in a car again and ride around. Has he said that?
He will race.
He will race.
He will race in the Xfinity now.
Right.
So he has made that statement clear. He was here when the mayor signed the letter of intent. He was in the mayor's office with him when
it's my understanding that not only Junior but several other big time names, and I don't want to throw them out on the radio without confirming that I'm right, but I've heard some of these names that are like, obviously we're there for NASCAR, but we're there for the signing, we're there for the event, we're all in on this. I mean, they want this to happen. I mean, Chase Elliott is very clear how much he wants this to happen too.
He's in town more than you think. And
you don't invite me to any of these nice events that y'all go to together.
Well, okay.
No, I say Norm. He's
big, generally on the air,
big time in me. I get it.
All
right. So what do we need to do?
Okay, Metro Council. There's 40 of them, and there's a mayor, and you need to make your voice heard. Now, I don't care. I don't care if you've never seen a race car in your life. I don't care. But this is the principle. So you need to stand up. You need to make it known that you're in favor of this, because everybody that's opened that envelope on property taxes, and here Bristol comes and wants to put money in the general fund.
They want to help.
In the general fund. How do you say no? And this has been going on since 2016 when Bristol made their first proposal.
It's embarrassing that it took this long.
The mayor, with Megan Barry, she just laughed it off. Briley did absolutely nothing. Cooper was going to do it, and somehow he.
When I talk to O'Connell, he seems genuine in his interest to protect history in this city.
Yes, and he knows it's the right thing. That's the bottom line.
Is he afraid of the big money?
I can't speak for him.
Just me and you talking, though? I mean, that's what it feels like.
Well, Nashville is not unique in that there's local politics, timing. There are issues that come up. And I'm going to tell you, this deal was done with Cooper, and then we had the tornado.
Mm-hmm.
And 3 weeks, and Bristol said, okay, take care of the tornado, go, take care of business. And then COVID hit. And then we had the bombing downtown. So things happen, and they're going to continue to happen. But it's time to take care of business right now for this city. It's time. And
so
people need to speak up.
Contact your local counselors.
Council person,
counselors, and contact the mayor's office.
The mayor's office. Their phone rings and they answer.
And what I've seen, and it's infuriating, is that because I was at the Fair Board meeting.
Where you were. Oh, yes.
The entire 4 hours.
The marathon.
Good gracious. Yeah. And God bless the people that were there, and God bless, and they voted on it, and it was a celebration because, like, hallelujah, this thing's going to go to the council. They're not going to go against the Fair Board, and this thing's going to happen. And it never did. And then they had the big open meeting that Sledge or whoever it was over there at Geodis.
Yeah.
And there were far more people in favor of this thing than against it.
Yes.
And that was a couple of years ago, and they've drugged their feet long enough and delayed it long enough that now they're talking about, oh, well, we need a public survey and more stuff. It's like, y'all done all of this in the past. You've already done all of this.
And in the next public meeting, the same things will be said that were in the last one. And it is a total waste of time. It's infuriating. You get 2 minutes, and that's all you get, and you can't have a conversation. And the council people are half asleep while you're doing it because they're saying the same thing over and over again.
Well, if it's all about parks, you can put parks anywhere. Yep. If it's all about green space, you can put green space anywhere. If it's all about condos, you can put condos anywhere.
Right.
If it's about affordable housing, you can put affordable housing anywhere.
That's right.
There's only one place there's going to be a Nashville Fairground Speedway where it's been since 1904.
Yes. And you know it's been part of my life since 1959. My first race I went to was 1959. I was 5 years old.
I was about to say you're about 40 years old.
Oh, man.
Norm, thank you for your advocacy. Thank you for your knowledge on this issue and your passion. And most importantly for me, because I gravitate to pessimism, but you remain so optimistic about this. You believe in it. You know in your bones it's going to happen, and you make me more hopeful that it's going to happen every time we talk to you about it.
Here's a parting thought. We need the city to do the next best thing. That's all. I mean, that's all you can ask for. Do the next best thing, and saving this racetrack and improving it is the best thing to do.
There's Norm Parton. We'll be back and finish things up in just a moment. It's 53 after the hour on Super Talk. Friends, this weekend, it's actually starting tomorrow and Saturday. It is at Glock Store, and I'm talking about Santa Claus. Now, a lot of people have a lot of great items and a lot of great gift-giving ideas, and Glock Store is one of them. If for the Second Amendment enthusiast in your life, if somebody loves a Glock, or they love accessories, or they love the clothing, or whatever it might be, maybe they need some magazines or ammo, whatever, they got it at the Glock Store, or I would encourage you to go ahead and get an annual membership at the Shoot 270 shooting rooms. But here's what you won't see anywhere else. Tactical Santa. Santa Claus is coming to the Glock Store this weekend, Friday and Saturday, and you can have a family photo with Santa Claus done from a professional photographer, in-house photographer, for $25. You will get a professional family portrait done. And, of course, you bring the whole family. You can bring your pets as well. Get the most unique holiday photo memory ever at the Glock Store. Tactical Santa. And, yes, Tactical Santa is going to look exactly like you think Tactical Santa will look. And you can have appropriate props as well. And if you don't have any on you, they have them available for you. Tactical Santa this weekend at the Glock Store. Glockstore.com or shoot270.com. Minutes away from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere.
Your home can be stressful, but it doesn't have to be. Get a guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. There are no showings, no open houses, no stress. Work with the #1 real estate team in the U.S. and close with confidence. Go to markspain.com today.
Super Talk 99.7 WT, and I know we got to run, only about a minute or so left in the show, but I thank you for being a part of the show on episode 941. We've got a Friday edition coming up tomorrow. Big fun. Fry J will be in progress tomorrow, starting at 4:05. Jay will give us his thoughts. I mean, I promise you, we're not becoming a NASCAR show, but this lawsuit that just got settled, it's a courtroom drama that is now behind us. We will talk to Jay about that, amongst other things. I'll also ask him about Kilmar Abrego Garcia and how in the world he can be released. That is coming up tomorrow. And Scott Zapicki will give us an update as to what went down in Columbia tonight with the water deal. Thanks to Norm Parton for being a part of the show as well. And thank you to all of you. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Until next time, hug your loved ones. So long.